Rich Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.
Hey, Big Rich.
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
It has been so refreshing, to get back to the old Rich Eisen Show.
I appreciate that, sir.
Heard nationwide, televised online at richeisenshow.com. Today's guests, Yahoo Sports senior NFL reporter Charles Robinson, NHL on NBC analyst Eddie Olczyk, Chicago Bears head coach Matt Nagy, Pro Football Hall of Famer Terrell Davis. And now, it's Rich Eisen.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to this edition of the Rich Eisen Show. We are live in Los Angeles, California. Once again, very excited to have my friend Chris Brockman across the way and Mike DelTufo. And it's okay, TJ, you can walk past frame. Everybody just watched you come up about 15 seconds of 15 inches shy of jarring the putt right there. It's all good. It's all good.
Nobody saw you make the one before.
It's all good if you walk past him. It's not a problem. We're just putting a television show together. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial here on our program. And we've got ourselves a lot of football on the mind, as always. Hockey made its announcement yesterday. And we were talking about it all day yesterday, telling you to stay tuned on our friends at NBC SN, where we'll be on in an hour from now, where the NHL commissioner was going to make an announcement, and we were wondering what the return to play plan was. Did they have an agreement with the NHL Players Association to announce and say, hey, we're back, date certain, spots certain, format certain? The only thing is format certain. That's the only thing at this point in time. Format certain. 24 of the 31 National Hockey League teams are going to participate in a return-to-play plan for the 2019-2020 season. 7 teams, 4 in the East, 3 in the West are out. Thanks for playing. Regular season was over. It has been announced it's over. You're out. Top 4 teams in each conference, the winners of divisions, are going to be playing for seeding. One would think, in essence, that is to get players on the top teams in some sort of game shape before they start playing playoff series. And the way that teams 5 through 12 will be seeded in a 4, I guess, regional final, if you will, to use a phrase, of the NCAA tournament, or for first round games. They're calling it a qualifying round. Best of 5 series. 8 teams in the East, 8 teams in the West. The winners will be the bottom 4 seeds, with the top 4 seeds in a round-robin tournament playing for the right to be the 1, 2, 3, or 4. So everyone will get up to, one would think, some sort of good hockey shape to fight it out for Lord Stanley's Cup.
All right, let's go.
And one would think, again, that it would look just like normal, with the exception of whatever social distancing would be required on the bench. There might not be anything required on the bench because I guess they're going to test the hell out of the players and figure out that if they create 2 hub cities, to be determined. Again, one assumes one would have to be West, one would have to be East. And here we go. Let's go play hockey.
All right.
I know.
I mean,
the question is,
let's get it going.
There's no dates.
Right.
We got to see what the virus looks like in terms of society. And I'm imagining players and management have to get together on some sort of fee for the services. And then what are the protocols? So on and so forth. And Eddie Olczyk of NBC, NHL on NBC, will be joining us at the top of our NBC Sports Net coverage to discuss all of it right there at 1 Eastern time. And I'm wondering if he likes the idea. Does the format benefit one team over another? You know, just taking a look at the the seedings, 5-12 game, 6-11 game, 8-9 game. 7-10 game, you start thinking of March Madness, which we missed, and there'll be a nice fun vibe to that sort of thing. And I know that this was based on division standings. If you go by points, it kind of makes little sense that Calgary and Winnipeg would be 8-9 out west, even though Winnipeg had 80 points, Calgary had 79, and every other team that's seated above them, with the exception of Edmonton, had fewer points. I'm just going to throw this out here, and DelTufo, as a New Jerseyite, would know. I know you're going on division standings. They could have done it just for at around the 7-10, 6-11 mark, 8-9 mark, just for kicks. You know what, and giggles? Putting the Rangers and Islanders in the same slots would have been great. The old Rangers Islanders, put them in as a 7-10, right? Look at that. You see the Rangers are 11, Islanders are 7. Just flip Florida and New York. Flip Florida and New York.
Just for fun?
Again, the Rangers, let me have this. Rangers have 79 points. Florida has 78.
Yeah.
So the Rangers actually had one more point. Islanders had 80 points. Just Islanders-Rangers. No, I mean, that's good eats because you're talking, again, certainly at this level, you're talking about regional interest would be peaked.
Right.
You want to get the New York market going. Rangers, Islanders, here we go. Maybe you play it in Woolman Rink, right? Which Trump saved years ago.
In the
middle of Central Park.
Yeah.
I don't know,
That'd be pretty cool. How cool would that be, though?
Or, NBC, as we all know.
Good Rockefeller Center.
Rockefeller Center.
I don't know if that's a regulation.
You don't think so?
I've skated on that.
An Olympic rink?
It's a little, that's not regulation.
Come on now.
That's funny.
It's close.
Oh, man. Yeah, let's go. I mean, I hope this we get going here.
Tell you
and
what.
it gets cleared and we'll get some hockey.
It's a hell of a lot better than what's going on with baseball.
Where are you?
I told you where I am.
Day one, but I'm saying, like, optimistic-wise that we have
who
a
the
baseball
hell
season.
knows?
I mean, is it 50-50? Is it 80-20? Like, I know every day changes in a negotiation, but
all I know is this is a very glass house. It's a very glass house. By that, I mean the following. One, it's transparent. We're all seeing what's going on. I know that's what's going on behind the scenes has been kept behind the scenes for the last couple weeks, but stuff's leaking out on purpose. All right?
I mean,
And
Passon
the
was had it all
fingers are
yesterday.
pointing you. It's you. No, it's you. It's you. You are the ones who said, let's do a prorated situation back in March, owners. We said yes, said the players. Owners, now, you are the ones who are going to get out there. I know that, but you've got to get out there. Otherwise, you don't get paid, and we don't have fans. So what we said in March is not operative now in May, players. And people are on bread lines, players. People are trying to make ends meet, players. So if you're going to sit there and say you're not playing because of a pay cut when people are getting furloughed and people are giving back money and people are losing their jobs, 40 million unemployed players. It's a glass house. We don't need to see in it. Right now, I don't need to see inside your glass house. Also, it's every other league's going to go through this too. We're assuming the NBA and the NBA Players Association have made their agreements. They already apparently came to an accord. We'll see about that. The NHL, the reason why the NHL's not coming out and saying anything more than what they've said is I don't know if they and the players have actually come to an agreement on all this stuff. They didn't come out with any protocols yesterday, did they?
Not that I saw.
Okay,
no.
so here's just the one thing we don't want as fans. Well, there's two things. We don't want sports leagues to start and they're not safe. I guess there's three things. Here we go. As I'm formulating this in my mind. The three things fans don't want for return to sport. Here's the three things. One, we don't want players and staff of sports leagues treated differently than all of us. If we can't get tested easily, if we don't have the right testing, if we don't have the accurate testing and we're seeing sports people are, if somebody's parent, grandparent, child, aunt, uncle, best friend is sitting around with symptoms and they still can't get tested, still don't know where to get tested, still can't afford maybe to get tested, and you're seeing everybody, well, we're processing 25,000 tests a week. That's one thing fans don't want. 2, we don't want it to be unsafe either. I don't want to sit here and think, I want to obviously lose myself in the competition. Not for a split second did I think that Brady and Tiger and Phil and Peyton were in any way, shape, or form harming themselves or harming others. You saw other officials.
Yeah, that jacked guy who was monitoring
with the masks on. They were wearing masks. Again, this is not a political statement. The person wearing a mask that you saw on the highest rated golf telecast of all time on cable, they weren't making a political statement by wearing a mask. It is known to cut down the transmission of this disease by a factor of anywhere between 12 and 15 times based on any of the science that's out there. So I got to lose myself in the competition. They were driving themselves in carts.
Yep.
There was no caddy standing next to them. Right. We're assuming they were all 4 of them quarantined or staying at home, sheltering in place, testing negative, go out and play. So I got to lose myself in the competition. If I think it is safe, I want to lose myself in the competition. So those are the first 2 things we want as fans about sports returning. Don't want to wonder about testing for me and my loved ones and friends when I'm seeing tens of thousands of tests being done for sports leagues. 2, I don't want to feel that what's happening is unsafe to the point where it's stopped. Yeah, we started, but guess what? Outbreak. We can't, we're trying to follow our protocols that we set by contact tracing and putting the players in quarantine, but the rest of the teams are in danger. We got to stop. We don't want that either. Here's the third thing we don't want. We don't want to know how the financial sausage is getting made. Oh, boy, do we not care about that at all. So don't go to the press and say this is happening, that's happening, that's happening, this is happening. Just sit in a room and get it done. Figure out how much owners you're willing to swallow. Figure out how much players you're willing to give as well. And figure it out. And please don't come back and say we couldn't figure out the money, because that's the ugly side of sports when there is no COVID-19 and there is no pandemic. And fans don't give a rat's ass, particularly now. You're barking up a very wrong tree. And I say that again as a very glass house. I'm assuming the NFL and the NFL players might have to come to some sort of an accord way down the road if there are no fans. And it's tough to think that there will be fans. But usually you can figure it all out. The last time that everybody threw their hands up and says no playing season was when? The NBA and the post-Last Dance, that's the last time? Did the NHL have a work stoppage between then? I think they might have. When was the last time sports leagues just threw their hands up and said, we can't figure out the money? Sorry, let's go to battle stations. Can't have it here, baseball. I'll just say that.
I'm not sure I'd be able to come back to baseball if
they just say this time around.
Yeah, and then there was no season this year, and other leagues are making it work, and they're going through the same situation that baseball's going through, but baseball can't figure it out. I mean, it'd be really hard to come back.
And baseball, by its rules and by its game, is the most already socially distant game.
Yeah.
Where it is most fit for a socially distant world. I mean, how much are you hearing like, hey, we're trying to do as much outdoors as possible. Do as much outdoors as possible. Just be vigilant, stay social distancing, stay 6 feet apart, wear a mask when you're in public around other people. When you're indoors, definitely wear a mask when you're anywhere near anybody in a public place.
I mean, the outfield space is pretty far apart.
Other than batter, umpire,
exactly.
Catcher,
home plate.
Other than
First
baseman holding runner on, and then dugout, bullpen. That's it, right?
Pretty much. And they've already said, guys in the dugout are going to sit in the stands. So I'd imagine the bullpen guys would sit in the outfield bleachers and then time to go warm up.
Right. So the NHL, the 12-13 regular season, that was the last time that a sports league just said, we're done here. You can't do it in COVID-19. You just can't. Everybody's got to figure it out.
Figure it out.
And again, the NFL would be wise to I think they're figuring a ton of stuff out behind the scenes right now. But in the meantime, we have actual rules to discuss. Did you see the written down rule of the replacement of the onside kick? Have you seen the actual language of it, Chris Brockman?
The language, no.
I have read the language, Chris.
Okay, parsed it out.
I have read the language. And here's basically the way it will work is that somebody scores a touchdown or a field goal. They have to kick off. They have to declare their intention to the referee.
Hey, we're going to...
Once they say, hey, we're going to do this...
This 4th and 15.
The referee sets the ball and then signals ready for play. When he signals ready for play, there's no turning back. You can call a timeout, though, in between scoring a touchdown and giving yourself a few extra minutes to figure out what do you tell the referee before ready for play. Because the ref basically has to say, we're putting the ball down somewhere.
Right.
Are we putting it on the 25 or are we putting it where you're kicking it off? You got to declare.
Okay.
And once it's time ready for play, that's when you got to go.
Right.
And if you decide ready for play and it's goes, then you got a timeout. You still have to go for it on 4th and 15 from your 25.
All right, so you announce ready for play.
Correct.
Ref puts the ball down. You're like, timeout.
Still got to go.
You can't come out and then kick off.
No.
You have to do 4th and 15.
Correct.
I like that.
If you score a touchdown and somebody taunts, in other words, a dead ball foul after the score.
Touchdown, celebration, in the face, flag.
Flag.
In the face.
You now must go for it from your own 13.5-yard line.
And now is it 4th and 30 or 4th and 27?
Still got to get to the 40.
Oh, baby.
If you score a touchdown, defender gets angry.
Oh.
Defender shoves, gets
Shoves,
flagged, gets
scuffle,
flagged.
flag on the defense.
Flag. You now can go for your 4th and 15 from your own 40. How do you like them apples?
Oh, I like that one.
But it's still 4th and 15.
Correct.
But from your 40.
The line to gain is now the other team's 45. So if you go incomplete, you're not even coughing it up in field goal range.
More or less.
Yeah.
So it gives you more of incentive to go for it. You might even want to steal a possession if somebody's idiotic enough to move your line of scrimmage closer to midfield.
So far, I'm loving what I'm hearing.
And then you go. If there is a flag on the play for offensive pass interference, for instance, you throw it, you convert it, flag on the play. What is it? Offensive pass. Your guy pushed off.
On the 4th and 15 play.
On the 4th and 15 play.
Okay.
It is now 4th and 25 from your 15-yard line.
And you have to go for it. You can't then say...
You can't say, I want to kick it.
I want to kick it now.
That's right. If you go for it and you're short, but there's a flag on the play on the defense. This is the one thing I can't read from the rules. if it is like a 5-yard contact penalty, do you get the first down? Or are you awarded the ball because a defender is called for an illegal contact across the field? Or is it you just try again and it's now fourth and 10 from the 30? That's my one question I have on this rule.
Based on how all the other rules go and the way they're situated, my guess would be it's a 4th and 10 play.
But normally the 5-yard illegal contact brings an automatic first down.
But do you want to give an automatic first down to a play on 4th and 15? Maybe it's defensive holding on the other side of the field where the play is not even going. Does that deserve a 4th and 15 rewarding of a first down?
I don't know. Is it if you go for it and it's a pass interference on the defense, 40 yards down the field, I think it's a spot foul and you get the ball at that spot because it's a timed down, by the way. It's for regulation only, by the way. Can't be used in overtime.
Well, right.
I was told it's a time down. I was told opposite, but Albert would know. These are amendments received this morning, I guess. An untimed down, which makes no sense because even on an onside kick, the clock would move.
Right. A 2-point conversion is an untimed down.
Correct.
Why would this be similar to that?
That's a good question.
Anyway, I'm in. I think it's awesome.
Well, and we'll ask our guest who's called in from Yahoo Sports. He covers the National Football League for Yahoo Sports and was talking about the dates by which the NFL is thinking of having mini camps, and those dates are right from the middle of June to the end of June. So there's lots to talk about right here with Charles Robinson of Yahoo. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing today?
I am doing fine. So let's start. I don't know if you heard our conversation or how much you were listening in, or when you called in about this 4th and 15 from the 25-yard line replacement, if you will, of the onside kick, which I like a lot. What are you hearing about it, Charles?
I heard that Albert is correct, that it is an untimed down, and that was a tweak that was actually adjusted this morning. And I think Albert actually reported that they made the changes this morning.
Okay.
You raised a question, though, that I actually didn't know the answer to. I was listening to you, and I thought, yeah, is that is it in a situation where you would normally award a first down, do you simply walk off the yardage and repeat the down? And I actually don't know the answer to that.
How about that?
You raised it, and I sat there and I thought, I don't. That's a good question. I don't know what they would do in that.
Charles, that's what I do for profession is ask good questions. I don't know the answer to it. I'm trying to look up the language while we're talking right now because I got that email in my NFL email inbox today. I don't know if it's really spelled out in this rule.
Yeah, you took me from prepared to completely unprepared about 30 seconds.
You know what I mean? It's really, I like the idea though too, is that, I, as the team that's thinking about doing this 4th and 15 from the 25, even up, I'm thinking about stealing a possession because I think 4th and 15, I've got it. We've got Andy Reid on the show later this week, and I'm sure he's already come out and said, we've got a guy who can do 4th and 15 pretty well. Oh, yeah. But if let's just say somebody gets flagged for taunting on defense, or they're angry, they shove somebody after having something scored on them. Now you're moving the line of scrimmage for this try up to the 40-yard line as opposed to the 25, which field position is not that much concern for me. I'm going to go for it. That's another.
Yeah, absolutely. Thing. I think if there's another flag in play and it adjusts the 25, yeah, it absolutely makes it more enticing. And Andy's the perfect guy to talk to because Pat Mahomes is clearly salivating. I mean, he's already taken when this first got rolled out, everyone saw the tweet where he clearly was interested in this play, felt like it was an advantageous rule adjustment for them. So,
Charles Robinson of Yahoo here on the Rich Eisen Show. You think it's going to pass? Again, this vote is tomorrow. Do you think this works?
I think it will because they're tweaking it. Like when they make on the fly adjustments. So I saw what Albert had reported. I texted somebody. I said, "Hey, is this accurate?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "I do. I think they changed it to make it an untimed down. And typically when they make adjustments like that, they feel like it has, it's got momentum, and they're kind of checking. They're doing a pressure check to see what are the holes here, what are the loopholes, what are things that could be unintended consequences, and can we get those taken care of before this goes to a vote? So I actually think the tweak makes it more likely, or sort of sends a signal that this is something that's got some momentum to it, and they're just trying to make sure they fine tune it as much as they can before it goes up.
What about the Sky Judge idea, Charles? What do you think of that idea about its viability here?
Yeah, the Sky Judge, I think, is. I would be surprised if that gets done now, because I feel like the league and the officials aren't quite prepared for it. I know Troy Vincent talked about sort of having the officiating pipeline and having the right people there for it, and not feeling like it was quite ready for it yet. And I would actually say that the PI flag rule falling apart last year on the field during the course of the season has taught them maybe a little bit of a lesson about, if we don't think we're fully prepared for something like this yet, let's not do it, because I think Troy Vincent probably put it best, where he said, look, officials should be faceless mechanisms in a game that help the game run smoothly. They shouldn't become part of the game and what the narrative is surrounding the product. And if the Sky Judge, if they don't have it completely nailed down, and they don't feel like they have the proper officials to take the Sky Judge positions for all the games, then it's going to become a problem. And that's kind of what happened with the pass interference flags last year, and what happened and didn't happen. And the next thing you know, we're all talking about Al Rivron every single week.
Exactly.
I think they kind of learned.
Yeah, I agree with you, Charles.
Yeah,
it doesn't really rectify. It just depends on how much gumption does the league have for it, right? I mean, how empowered is this going to be? Albert Breer brought up again how people thought this was a fix for what ailed the league with pass interference last year. And I told him that what he was throwing out in terms of the theory for that, what he's hearing from people saying that, sounded exactly what the league was saying, and people were in favor of making pass interference reviewable were saying before the season. And then when it actually came time to put it into practice, it was just really a flop. There's no other way to describe it.
Right.
That this doesn't fix it. He says, however, making the official part of the officiating crew would change that the politics of the issue would be removed, because it's somebody who's physically there and part of the crew.
Right. But I think that also makes it the complication. I think that's sort of what Troy Vincent was talking about with the pipeline, is, do you have the bodies? Do you have the expertise, and are you prepared for it? Can you, or are you going to have I think when you looked at the pass interference, it was sort of the uneven nature of it.
Right.
Once you started to see, hey, this is like a judgment situation, and it's changing. Some situations it wasn't working much, but then there were certain situations where someone would throw a flag and get the intended consequence that they expected, and then you'd sit there and go, well, okay, I'm comparing this against 50 other flags that were thrown and didn't work. Why is, the uneven nature becomes the problem. And I think that's part of what the league and everyone who's sitting in Park Avenue talking about the officiating is like, as soon as there's something that's off kilter, that immediately becomes something that myself, and others like me end up hammering on every single weekend. With social media, it just becomes an echo chamber, and that's the last thing the league wants to walk into again.
Senior NFL reporter of Yahoo Sports, Charles Robinson, here on the Rich Eisen Show. Walk me through the minicamp conversation. The league really just doesn't want to put dates on anything until it absolutely has to. And there was some pushback from the league on your reporting about dates being discussed for minicamp being targeted the 15th of June or as late as the 27th. I give you the floor on all that.
Yeah, the union president too, J.C. Treader, came out on Twitter and kind of pushed back on it too. And I think people, what they need to understand about the report is it's what I tried to lay out here is we have these steps, and the league is looking at these steps, and they would like to get head coaches back into facilities next week. What I was told was sort of conservatively maybe the end of next week. And, they feel like, all right, let's see what happens in California with Gavin Newsom. We have these state governments that are now getting to the point now where we can get the structural operations of all of the football clubs up and running again. And once we get coaches in, then can we have a conversation about, in some way, shape, or form, squeaking in, getting some players into the facility before the break, before the normal break that would happen before training camp. Now, this cap, as J.C. Tretter pointed out, there was a negotiated cap between the union and the league in terms of the end of the virtual off-season program, which is June 26th. Now, from what I understand, these are all discussions that are fluid. They can still be in terms of, hey, if the league wants to go to the union and say, you know what, now that we've got sort of everybody up and running, we'd like to have some sort of voluntary situation to bring guys in, not necessarily make it a mandatory minicamp, but maybe a voluntary minicamp where, hey, Tom Brady, if you want to be out there throwing to guys, come do it in the facility with the coaches. Or Lamar Jackson, if you're out there working with guys, come do it in the facility, with coaches so we can all sort of start to get on the same page here. I think that's the next iteration of this conversation. And there were dates. I know the league has said, look, we haven't put hard dates on anything, but I had two sources who flat out said to me the same dates independent of each other. They mentioned June 15th, which didn't sound as doable to either of them, but the June 27th date, I have no idea why it was the 27th and not the 26th, but it sounded like later in June, there was like this idea that maybe once we get coaches in, we can start to talk about getting some sort of abridged form of getting some players back into the fold just before that break. And I think people have to understand too, it gives the league an element, a little bit of a soft opening, because they have to prepare for how are we going to do all of this once training camp comes, and it's mandatory for everybody to show up. Maybe if we get a collection of individuals in now and we start to look at the protocols we need to get them into the building, that helps us form some sort of guardrails for when training camp's coming on.
So if they delay that to June, and shouldn't we just assume that training camps are not going to start on time? I mean, at what point do we just call it out for what we're potentially seeing right here, Charles?
To me, if you're bringing in players at the end of June, if there's some sort of a soft mini camp, and it's whether it's I would suggest that it would likely be involuntary, or voluntary, excuse me. That it would be hard to believe you're getting players in at the end of June, and then all of a sudden you're opening, training camp the second or third week of July, depending on obviously which team's opening first, but. Everything is so fluid right now. And that's what everybody kept telling me as I was working on this was, we're in uncharted territory here. You're trying to nail us down on exactly what the protocols are, the steps we're going to take, and
right.
We're literally figuring out one step at a time and then going, okay, once that's in the books, now we start to look at the next one. They have no idea. The league has no idea when training camps would open. I think the only thing the league can agree upon is they wish owners would stop going on CNBC and talking.
Or on Hannity last night.
Yeah,
Bob Kraft went on Fox News last night, right?
Yeah, Stephen Ross, David Tepper. I mean, the league keeps asking owners and general managers and everybody, please, we're trying to have one unified voice here. And when people step out and say things, we're still trying to negotiate every point of the process with the union, which is why J.C. Tretter comes out and says what he says. I have no doubt. When I called someone with the union, I'm like, what's going on here? I got J.C. Tretter coming at me on Twitter, and someone from the union said to me, look, man, I'm pretty sure J.C. had players hitting him up saying, wait a minute, we're going to do mini camps now? Like, when did that happen? And as I said to the person in the union, hey, it's in the story that you guys have to sign off on anything. Nothing's set until you guys all agree on it. So I think that's part of the reason is that, the league's like, everybody stop talking out of concert. Let us figure this out with the union so we can continue to step this forward. We have a lot of things to think about before we can just jump straight to training camp.
Sure. What about the finances, Charles? In the same way that we're seeing baseball struggle, there's no question about it. Has that been hammered out, that the league and the players know what the finances would be for a season that they're going to plan on having in full, but with no fans? Revenue would be obviously removed from that. I mean, or is that coming to the NFL too?
So what's interesting to me, everyone's talking about force majeure. Like, if the league, the collective bargaining agreement, depending on how you interpret it, is, hey, once the season kicks off, the union's going to have the stance that, hey, players are getting paid. Like, this is their salaried year kicks in. Everyone's getting paid for whatever you're on the hook for over the course of the season once we play a regular season game. I think the bigger question now is, or at least one of the big questions that looms, is sort of how will the cap be affected? It's derived from revenue, and if revenue dips with fans not showing up, shouldn't the cap technically withdraw? And I've asked a couple of teams about, what are you talking about? Like, you clearly are still trying to do contracts and extensions, and there's all this uncertainty. I think what's interesting is, you have some teams that believe what's going to end up happening is there's going to be a flat cap in 2021, that the union and the NFL are going to figure out a way to negotiate out a cap that doesn't rise but doesn't fall. And then somehow the money that they take, so say it would have dipped, $20 million per team next season. They flatten it out. They take that $20 million and they spread it out over the length of the collective bargaining agreement. So you're essentially robbing Peter to pay Paul down the line, and that way you're keeping teams from having this recession in the cap that could wreak havoc on their rosters. Now, I think even a flat cap is going to wreak some havoc.
Oh yeah,
but it's pretty clear they're already talking about how to keep this from rolling back. The union doesn't want the cap to roll back. I think a lot of NFL owners don't want the cap to necessarily roll back, particularly ones that have cap-heavy rosters and really already pressed up against it.
Yeah, man. There's not a single planner of rosters, not a single one, that thought in a million years the salary cap in the NFL would do anything but go up. Not a single one.
Yeah.
So I know that's down the line. I'm just trying to figure out if we're going to see at some point the conversation that the folks in baseball are struggling with right now, or maybe the NBA and the NHL is doing behind the scenes a little bit better than what baseball is, will be coming soon to the NFL.
I think that the NFL is very aware of the negative impact that the negotiations have had on baseball right now. And I think the union's very aware of the negative impact that negotiations have had on the product. And, moving forward, I think the only way, at least when I talk to particularly people from the union, the only way they think that ends up being, something that has to be a conversation is if we get to the point where we're going to start erasing games or there's a chance the season doesn't happen. And I still think almost everyone I talk to has the Stephen Ross, vantage point. It's going to happen. Like, we believe the season's going to happen now. It's just figuring out exactly how it's going to happen. And I frankly think that bridge was crossed when the league comes out and they bring out medical experts and they bring out Jeff Miller and they start talking about, hey, we know we're going to have positive tests. It's going to happen. Like, but we're going to have a plan in place to deal with positive tests. To me, you're thinking beyond, hey, we just have to shut down. You're thinking of all the trapdoors that exist and how to deal with those so that you can have a season in place as best you possibly can.
And what about the idea, Charles, a few more quick hitters with you, the idea that there's a helmet that's being discussed to be outfitted? I do believe the union might have made this public too, that they're looking at a face mask that would be covered with N95 material, like the sort of a surgical mask covering on helmets, face masks, so every player would be masked on the field as they're playing. Yeah,
they're flooding the zone with in terms of everything they're looking at. So it's not, we're in terms of the player safety, it's just not. Like, so I had a conversation with one team because I do a training camp tour, and I said, hey, do you think I just won't be allowed? Because, I'd be bouncing around from city to city, and I can't be somebody to be quarantined. Like, how would you deal with that? And he literally went through a litany of, he's like, hey, you know what? You're not going to have locker room access. You're not going to have this. You're not going to have that. Here are all the different things that are going to change. And then he started to talk about, as you said, things on the field, like, hey, we're looking at potential equipment situations. We're talking about, hey, the way that, players are exposed to other personnel on the field, people in the chain gang, all these different things. Like I said, they're flooding the zone with every aspect of what can we change to potentially protect players and give them that extra level of comfort. I don't know. We'll see how this works out. It's interesting because in Dallas, there's going to be an offensive line camp that's supposed to take place in July. And I'd love to talk to, some of these offensive linemen who it's 50, 60 snaps a game. It's literally your job to bash yourself up against the guy in front of you. And how are you going to prevent getting spit on, bled on, every possible, scenario that you can imagine you wouldn't want to do, and why you social distance. You're going to abandon that 50 to 60 times a game. So.
And the last one for you, how does the Dak situation play into all this? I mean, if the cap is flat, right? Or I mean, he's still unsigned, man. I mean, this is crazy how he has been allowed to get to this point, or I guess he's forced his way to this point. I don't know where it all sits, but middle of July, this is going to have to be decided. What's happening here? What do you think, Charles?
Yeah, I mean, it has the hallmarks of Kirk Cousins, although I think it's a little bit different because, Washington, the reticence with Kirk, I mean, there were a lot of different reasons. I heard a lot of, hey, the arrow's pointed flat. It's not pointed up on Kirk. There's a reason we don't want it. Whereas the Cowboys, top to bottom, really, everybody says, we want him, want to sign him. He's our guy. He's our cornerstone. They just keep fighting over this 4 years of control versus 5 years of control. I think I'm of the mind, the people who say, hey, deadline spur deals, I'm there. Like, I think between July 8th and July 15th is probably when you're going to see the most traction. I think if it doesn't get done, I think if he plays this year on the tag, I think he'll go the full way with the leverage. He'll play it out and force them to tag him again, and then get to the point where they have to make a very, very difficult, painful decision on him down the line. But I wonder, I'm not, when I say this, I'm purely speculating, but I wonder if, because of the uncertainty going forward with the cap and other situations, whether or not Todd France and CAA look at Dak and go, you know what, we have a pretty good deal on the table. We're pretty close. Let's see if we can figure out some middle ground in terms of the financial number versus the 4 years and the 5 years. And let's really try to get this done, because we don't know what's going to happen next year with next year's cap or this season and all these different things.
Right.
So
I mean,
I think the environment might actually help the Cowboys in this scenario.
Well, I mean, look, Charles, and then here's the last question for you. The $64,000 question that I ask everybody as they come on here, and I get asked it all the time. I'm no expert in public health, neither are you, but I think we can see that at least the threat may not be different, but maybe the tolerance to deal with it, or the confidence in being able to deal with it, is definitely stronger now than it was, say, draft night. That's for sure. And the circumstances may have changed on the ground. We don't know, because the virus keeps shifting, it seems. And I keep reading articles that say, it could go away or it doesn't. There's no shot. I mean, it's kind of crazy what I'm reading about it. But you're reading the tea leaves. You think we've got a season? You do believe we've got a season? Yes or no?
I do. I think we will have a season. I think the, as you said, the $64,000 question, though, is going to be how the league reacts to infection, because, as you said, it's sort of shifting sands right now. And I expect that will happen into the fall. I listen to the same medical experts you do. I mean, it seems to, you can get any opinion you want if you look for it hard enough. But I think when the league comes out and says we are preparing as if people will get infected, I would be surprised, given the number of personnel involved in the league, the thousands of players we're talking about, and then all the surrounding personnel, that there won't be infection that occurs once training camp starts, or, when people reconvene. I think there will be infection in the fall. And then, to me, that's how is the league prepared at that moment to ultimately deal with this. So that's the make or break moment, because I don't think we'll have to go into the regular season when that moment happens. I think it's going to end up happening, once we get all back together in training camp. Someone's going to test positive, and then there's going to have to be a pivot point where we figure out exactly how the league deals with it.
Charles, appreciate the time, man. We'll get you on further on down the line and just check in with you and kick the tires on your knowledge, and hopefully we do have a playing season.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Always my pleasure, Rich.
Thank you. That's Charles Robinson of Yahoo Sports. Exclamation point is silent, by the way.
Good note.
Just in terms of stuff that you read, you wake up every day, you get on, I get on my phone to see just how much the world is exploding and collapsing, right? And then you see good news and it gets you up, and I'm just like everybody else when you check in with the world after you wake up. I'm thankful that you wake up, these days. I saw one story where the CDC changed their website to say over the weekend that it's possible or likely that over half of the tests that people are taking to see if they have antibodies could be incorrect. Okay?
Yeah, I had heard that.
You hear that on one hand, like, hey, if you've been tested and you've been tested for antibodies, you say, I've got them.
Right.
The CDC says either check again or, hey, that may not be correct.
Right.
Over half. Oh, you see that. And then you see Dr. Fauci say it's still possible that there could be a vaccine by the end of this year. So,
nobody knows.
That's
till
why.
you know.
That's why I got to just take it one day at a time, and we'll go down the wormhole of sports again. In turn, we've got Matt Nagy on later on, and obviously he's a coach, and we always try to turn to coaches because they must be on the front lines of being the most knowledgeable of the situation, because all coaches are control freaks. This is the ultimate you can't control, whatever they can attempt to control, they will try and seek out the controllables so they can control it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I will ask him that. I do believe he also has something going on with his quarterback spot. I got to research that in the commercial break. All right, I'm going to get on that just to make sure that
we can print some things.
I just got to make sure that we're all buttoned up on that, because I'm hearing. I don't know about you. I'm hearing stuff about their quarterbacks.
Yeah. I've heard it.
What's going on with baseball? You have some more information here?
Yeah, so baseball, the proposal that they're doing got leaked yesterday, and the big thing about it is,
yeah, it came
the salary sliding scale that's going on. And so Jeff Passan kind of broke all this down. It's like if you're getting paid $0 to $560,000, you're going to get 90% of your salary. The $560,000 to $1 million, 72.5%, $1 million to $5 million, you'll make half your salary. $5 million to $10 million, 40%, and down the line. And it seems the players making the most money are going to get hit the hardest. So he did an example with Mike Trout. So Mike Trout's due to make $37.6 million.
And he has earned every penny.
Every single penny.
And
he has earned it.
Before you go down this road, I want to just say the following. For anybody who hears this, because it's going to sound, I'm sure, what you're about to say,
yes,
like Mike Trout should still be able to live very comfortably off of whatever he will be paid to play and dress like a baseball player every day and live out every childhood every childhood dream that we all had to play the sport. That whatever he would have to be foregoing might even be more than what was raised for COVID-19 relief in the weekend's events with Tiger and Phil and Tom and Peyton.
Fact.
And that he should be able to forego something like this because he's still absurdly wealthy and he's going to be generationally wealthy. But he's earned every penny. It was his turn to earn it in the marketplace.
He's the best player of the last 60 years.
I'm not even talking about ability. It's still the thing that you're go crazy about when I talk about Dak deserves the money because it's his time and it's his turn, and that's what the market of the sport that he has chosen and that has chosen him, okay?
Yeah.
That all put together, he has earned it. It was Trout's time to earn it. Now you can finish.
Are we comparing Dak Prescott's ability to Mike Trout's ability, or?
I'm comparing its time. It was his time to earn what he's about to be asked to be given up.
I think that's apples and oranges in the example. But Mike Trout is going to go from $37.6 million to $5.7 under this proposal because his salary is tiered all the way down from $0 to $20 million plus.
So he will have to forego $30 million.
$32 million. Yeah.
Well, and he has every right to say pound cent.
Exactly.
That I'm going to go, okay, I'm supposed to earn this much. This is how much I was supposed to earn. This is how much I fought to earn. Right. This is how much it was my time to earn. And now you're telling me I've got to do without $30 million that I will never make back and run the risk of being put on a ventilator. Because whatever you do and whatever you say are the protocols, and they are very careful, as we know, 60-plus pages.
Yeah, so this sliding scale hurts the players making the most amount of money. Anything over $10 million a year, really, which is a lot of players. Helps the minimum salary guys. Like, if you're making $563,000, say the league minimum, pro rate would be $285,000. And the sliding scale is going to be $256,000.
Here's the thing: is this is stuff that's still being negotiated. It's still being hammered out. This is still in the oven. None of it was intended to be made public, I'm sure, and it's being made public because of two things. One, it's going to get me upset, and I'm sure if I am on the players' side of things, I'm viewing it as saying, "You're trying to break up this union." That's what you're trying to do. You're telling guys who are 60-some-odd% of the union, we're hardly going to touch your salaries as long as the guys who are living in the high-rent district cough up an obscene amount of money because we billionaires need the break in order to have baseball. And I'm sitting there as a player saying, you're trying to break my union. On the other side, you're a billionaire or you've got a business to run. It's still a business. It's still a time that you're trying to run a business. And you're looking at the bottom line, and they have to also do the bottom line cost-benefit analysis. How much money am I losing? How much would we gain in terms of respect and love and admiration and attention if we're the first to do it? And we have the undivided attention of a sports viewing public that turned in droves to watch four guys play golf. What if we actually do this thing? There's got to be a middle ground. See, this is what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to go down this road because, again, this is stuff that's supposed to be behind the scenes.
Right.
And it's a glass house that we're looking into right now because people are trying to say, hey, fans, put the public pressure on somebody. And the problem is many of the fans who could use it and would love to put the public pressure on are worried about where their next meal's coming from, how ends can meet, or even worse, God forbid, somebody that's living in a nursing home and you can't see, you can't visit. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of money for Mike Trout to basically have to swallow to go out and say,
yeah.
But now that's out there. It's now on Mike Trout, who could not have been more of a leader when this whole thing happened, could not be more of a great face front for baseball. Now you're going to come out and say, hey, Mike, you need to cough up $30 million and still go out there and run the risk of getting sick and bringing it home to your family.
Yeah, he's been very public. His wife is pregnant right now, and he's really nervous about.
So you know what you're also forcing? Here's what you're also forcing. You're also forcing the stars of the game to sit it out. Okay, we got baseball. How are the Angels looking without Mike Trout? You tuning in?
Not great.
I know they got Rendon, but he would have to. He's in that high rent district.
He is.
This is what we don't want.
No. And it's not good for the game because it's going to turn off casual fans.
before we go down that road, let them iron it out. They're not there yet. They're not there yet.
It's a big week, though. I mean,
but that is, you know, if I'm in the union and I'm sitting there and I get something like that, my initial thought is they're trying to break us. They're trying to divide us and try again. But baseball even came out saying we're waiting for what did they say, a reasonable response or something? I don't know what it is. Oh, God, please just play ball if you can be safe. By the way, once you get through all this, then you got to worry about what the protocols are.
Right. Of which there are many.
Do you have a poll question idea for our final 2 hours of our show?
I have an idea. It's Daniel Jones's birthday today.
Just leave it at that. I don't even know where you're going on that front.
Okay.
Is it a Duke front? It's an Eli front? I know you love slagging on Eli whenever you get a chance.
It's a quarterback front.
Okay. Did you call Eli a game manager with Peyton Manning on hold yesterday? Did that happen?
No. Did I take a shot at Eli yesterday?
While Peyton was on hold, yes.
It's maybe. Did I?
Yes.
I don't remember.
You called him a game manager while his brother's on hold.
The Eli shots are just like second nature now for me.
He beat his team twice.
I think Peyton can separate.
He hates him. I wouldn't like Eli either if I was a Patriot fan.
Love it.
My beef is not with Eli.
Okay,
I know,
Eddie Olczyk of NBC Sports is about to join us. Matt Nagy and Terrell Davis and you, 844-204-RICH. We'll have a lot of time to take your phone calls. That's all coming up here on the Rich Eisen Show here on this busy Wednesday edition. Don't go anywhere. We'll join the NBCSN audience in a minute. Needs no introduction, but I'll give it to him anyway. The legend, Tony Hawk.
Oh, thank you.
How are you, bud?
Very good, thanks.
Okay, so what do we have here? Choices, because you know I've never been on a skateboard.
I heard that.
You actually use your skateboard?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so wow. All right.
Have you ever done any board sports, surf, snowboard?
This is a blank slate situation.
All right. So if I were to, let's see, you have to decide which way you stand, first of all.
Okay.
Right? So you're either going to stand with your right foot forward or your left foot forward.
Well, I'm a right-handed guy, so
that doesn't matter.
How do you ski?
Let's say if someone were to push you forward, which foot would you? All right, yeah, I say you're goofy-footed.
Okay.
Like me.
Here we go.
You're riding my board, you're goofy-footed.
This is great.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is put your front foot on the board, a little bit of an angle.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
And then just give it a little push off, and then straighten your front foot out after it's moving.
Okay.
And my only advice is to anticipate the motion.
Anticipate the motion. So I'm going to
don't fall.
right foot like this. Oh my God, this is no good. And then push off with the left?
Yeah, and then just lean forward. Make sure you're leaning forward. That would be leaning back. Is that what you guys were hoping for?
Yeah.
Was that the money shot?
That's exactly what we were hoping for.
I swear I gave him good advice.
What a horrible moment. But this is what everybody in this room was hoping for. Wow. I'm going to do it again.
All right.
Wow, one down.
Do it again.
Okay, you
Wow,
got
I'm
it.
going to do it again.
You gotta lean forward. Lean forward on your front, like over your front foot. All right, you're centered more over your front leg.
Okay.
There you go. That's it. That's it. You got it.
Gotta teach my kids to stay on the board.
There you go.
Look at me.
That's it. You're skating.
Tony Hawk, everybody.
High five for perseverance.
Got to teach the kids to get back on it. But I do need an ice bag. An ice pack, please, somebody.
Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.
Hey, Big Rich.
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
It has been so refreshing, to get back to the old Rich Eisen show.
I appreciate that, sir.
Heard nationwide, televised online at richeisenshow.com. Earlier on the show, Yahoo Sports senior NFL reporter Charles Robinson. Coming up, NHL on NBC analyst Eddie Olczyk. Chicago Bears head coach Matt Nagy. Pro Football Hall of Famer Terrell Davis. And now, it's Rich Eisen.
Hey, everybody. It is a Wednesday edition of the Rich Eisen Show. We are live on NBCSN, and we say hello to our NBCSN audience, and a hello again to our youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show streamers and all those who listen to us on Sirius XM channel 211 every single day from 12 to 3. We're on from 1 to 3 every single day on NBCSN, and we're thrilled about that. You can call us at 844-204-RICH, number to dial. We've got lots of time to take your phone calls today. First up, we're going to get in a second to the Pucks conversation. Eddie Olczyk calling in right now on the Rich Eisen Show from NBC Sports in just a matter of seconds. Matt Nagy, the Chicago Bears head coach, will be joining us in about 40 minutes' time. I researched it, Chris Brockman, during the commercial break. There is apparently another quarterback in Chicago. There's a quarterback scenario that people want to know about.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
From Matt Nagy.
Okay, good.
So we'll get to that later on. And then Terrell Davis, Pro Football Hall of Famer, my compadre from NFL Network, will be joining us. You get over there, Mike DelTufo? Everything good over there?
Yes, I was looking at something. Sorry, Rich.
You were looking at it? It's okay. It's all good. You're looking at something. You're working.
I'm
it.
multitasking. Everything's good.
Again, I love the free Thursday Night Football gear from NFL Network. That's an original. That's a 2006 season original right there.
Super Bowl shirt.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I think I paid for the shirt.
And then the Super Bowl shirt underneath. Very good.
Yes.
So we were on the air yesterday when word came across from our friends at NBCSN that they were going to have a 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time announcement from Commissioner Gary Bettman of the National Hockey League about a return to play plan for the 2019-2020 season when the NHL ceased playing games for the moment. When COVID-19, the pandemic hit, they announced that the regular season was over, and it is now officially over, really officially over for 7 teams. Anaheim, Los Angeles, San Jose, Buffalo, New Jersey, Ottawa, and Detroit are out. In the Eastern and the Western conferences, their seasons are now officially over. And then it's now time for 24 of the 31 National Hockey League franchises to play for Lord Stanley's Cup. Top 4 teams in each conference are going to play for first-round seeding, a little round-robin competition. And then everybody else, 5 through 12, a qualifying round, sort of a play-in round, if you will, to use some sort of March Madness phrase. And both the round-robin and qualifying round will be of importance because the top 4 teams playing in the round-robin, they'll play for seeding in the tournament for Lord Stanley's Cup. And then the best of 5 series advancing to the first round and the qualifying round. That will also help everybody get up to speed, get up to playing speed, getting back into the swing, if you will, of things, putting biscuits in the basket and conditioning and so on and so forth. And then we've got first and round, second round format and series length to be determined. I guess that, again, depends on when the puck's going to start dropping. And the conference finals and the Stanley Cup final, they know for sure is going to be a best of 7 series. The only thing we don't know for sure, in addition to the length of the first and second round series, is the where and the when. They do know the where will be in 2 hub cities. Don't know which cities yet. And they just don't know the when. Bottom line, though, is we know format. And that's exciting in itself. It was exciting to hear. Exciting to hear Gary Bettman saying we want to play, we're going to play this format when we can and wherever we can. So that's how we turn to our friend from NBC Sports and one of the voices of the NHL on NBC and NBCSN and the family of networks, Eddie Olczyk. How are you, Eddie?
Hi, Rich. I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well. It's the same during these crazy times. So health and happiness to you and yours.
Well, I was going to ask you that question because I know you are somebody who would be at risk. Ed, what's going on with you?
No, feeling good. Yeah, it's hard to believe. I'm 2 years since my battle with stage 3 colon cancer, and officially got my yearly scan the other day, and it came back all clean and clear.
Wonderful.
So I'm very lucky, very blessed, and just trying to do the right things, by my, for myself and my family, and abiding by the medical professionals. And but I'm feeling good, and some great news yesterday. Probably the best medicine that I've had in a long time, hearing the commissioner jump on there and give the format and the return to play. And I think the one thing too, Rich, I think the league, led by the commissioner, Mr. Bettman, and the deputy commissioner, Bill Daly, I think the league has done an unbelievable job here since the pause. Like, since the middle of March, they've been out there. They've been answering questions. They've give information when it was there. And, they've gone, underground when there was really nothing to say. And then to be able to get together with the Board of Governors and the owners, and then obviously the players and the return to play committee, to be able to come together and say, okay, look, if we can accomplish this, this is the way it's going to be. And look, you can poke holes at it. You can, break it down. And, some teams, Buffalo and New Jersey, for example, on the outside looking in, they had a couple of games in hand. And, you could argue it until you're blue in the face. But look, I think that they deserve a lot. I think the leadership the commissioner showed was second to none during this whole thing. And look, we're probably 10 minutes into the first period through this whole process right now, and hopefully we'll get back to playing. But at least everybody has an idea, and let's get through the first couple of phases, and then we'll worry about dropping the puck when the time permits. And again, that will all be because of the safety and the aspect and the guidance of the medical professionals.
So I guess then let's get into the format here, right? Let's talk a little sports, Ed. Let's do it. Does this format, do you think, benefit one team over another, just based on at first blush, looking at it?
Well, I mean, I think when you break it down, you mentioned, Rich, the top 4 teams in each conference getting a bye, and then they'll play a little round robin to play the seedings there. The interesting thing is that you had teams that were on the outside looking in, right? When the pause happened, the teams that were sitting at 9, 10, 11, 12, all of a sudden they may be 8, 9 points out of a playoff spot, and here they are getting an opportunity to challenge for, in my opinion, the greatest trophy in all professional sports. So when you look at it from that aspect of it, it's an opportunity for teams that, maybe thought that, hey, they had to go on an unbelievable run before the pause and have a chance at getting into the playoffs. So, that to me is, when you look at the 5 versus 12, is going to be, I mean, it's wide open, Rich. Like, I don't think anything that anybody did prior to the pause really has no relevance in what's going to take place here, because this is absolutely uncharted territories. I mean, most of these guys will have been off the ice almost like an off season, like an off season. And, if we've had any normalcy in our life, they'd be off the ice for maybe 3+ months. And then, now they're going to go, and they're probably going to have their informal skates. They can skate with their teammates up to 6 at their facilities when that opportunity presents itself in the next phase, and then eventually no earlier than the middle of July that they will have the formal team practicing. But I don't think I really don't. I don't think it favors anybody. I think you could sit there and say, you know what, if you like the longest shot on the board, and being a horse player, Rich, as you know I am, if you got that courage and gumption and think, wow, this team's got a goaltender, this guy's got a star player, why can't they go on a run? Because that's what you got to do. So for me, a lot of scenarios out there, the possibilities of how we were going to get this thing done, and I think that the league, and along with the players, again, don't forget, the players had a big say in this. They came to the best conclusion, and looking forward to see how this format plays out, especially once you get past, the first preliminary rounds, Rich, because you got this 5 versus 12, just like the NCAA.
Right.
The March Madness is once you get through that, are they going to have a bracket situation, or are they going to reseed and then go from the highest ranked team to the lowest and then have them play? That's all to be determined, as you mentioned a little bit earlier. So that's the exciting part, is how they're going to decide how this thing all plays out.
Well, I know I might sound like a Southern California Eddie Olczyk, but I'm also got a New Yorker in me too. Wouldn't it be interesting that if the Canadians finally break the McSorley stick curse under this format? They go from a 12 seed and going on a run.
They got the goalie that could do it, Rich. They got the goalie that can do it, Carey Price. There's no doubt. They've got some holes there. I don't think the holes have been plugged up since the pause. Montreal's going to have a tough time here. As they move forward in these and against that first series against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I was thinking too. And I know these seedings are based on division standings, not just points. Man, and again, the New Yorker me, I would have loved to see Rangers Islanders, right? That they play each other right then and there. Maybe they could play it right there in Rockefeller Center in the rink. Do the full-on synergy with NBC and just play it outdoors. I don't know if I don't think it's a regulation size rink that's right there in Rockefeller.
No, we just
Plaza.
go to 3-on-3. Why not? Just go to 3-on-3.
Well, isn't that the rules, right? That regular season overtime rules apply early on.
For the round for the top 4 seeds in each, but the other series that play in, so to speak, those are overtime. You go 3-4 overtimes. You play until you have a winner.
That's it. And then again, Eddie, I mean, I'm assuming with the players already coming off of quarantine, the playoff beards would be particularly great. I mean, like in terms of all-time playoff beards.
I've been told is that hair grows more in the summertime, so I'm assuming that.
Wow.
I know the Sharks are not in it, but Brent Burns and Joe Thornton could have beards down to their knees if they happen to be in the playoffs.
But yeah, they could be like ZZ Top, right? To go old school right there. 2 minutes for low bearding. That could be something like that. So I mean, this is genuinely exciting. That said, do you know what have you heard from players about concerns about returning to the sport and what might be going on back and forth on that front on the protocol?
Yeah. Talking to a lot of players throughout the league, and there obviously is that concern, and that's where you're gathering your information from the medical professionals, and how are we going to have a safe, healthy environment? And that's what the commissioner has said from day one, and he said that yesterday again, is when he addressed everybody of look at the safety and health of everybody involved is at the forefront of this, and how do you have a competitive balance there with it's a contact sport. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And, how do we keep our players safe and the officials as well? Let's not forget the officials that are going to be in the middle of this. So that's why, there's this great optimism. And look, I mean, we're all living in a most difficult time, and it's hard to turn on the television and just hear, I don't want to say the negativity, but certainly just, bringing everybody down with what's gone on. And it's hard not to be, just whether it's personally or professionally or, just what's going on in society. But when you have this hope here about, oh, wow, maybe, in our little world, we're going to get back to seeing hockey, but to have the format out there that is just awesome. But then again, the hurdles are from the players' aspect of it is, okay, so how are we going to do this? How are we going to keep everybody safe? What happens if somebody does get sick? How is that going to be affected? Who's going to be doing the testing? How is that going to be administered? Who's going to make the final decision? All of those things are still, obviously have been talked about, Rich, but those things have to be, worked out. A lot of talk, and I've heard it with Major League Baseball and also with the NBA is, how are families going to be implemented here? I mean, you can only put these guys, or any situation, you can only put them in a bubble, and be protected so much. I mean, there's going to be outside, there's going to be outside structure there at some point. I mean, whether you're going into hotels, are hotel workers. I mean, that's
right.
That's one of the questions as well. If you're going into a hotel or a resort, are all these hotel workers going to be staying in these hotels and not going home and then coming back and working and cleaning your room or feeding serving the food, the bus drivers, all that kind of stuff. So there's so many things that, that obviously still need to be worked on, but that's why they have the committee, and this is, like I said, you're just 10 minutes into the first period of this whole game here to hopefully get us back sooner than later, and hopefully we're back at the end of July or early August.
And then just to wrap things up with you, Eddie Olczyk, I mean, you want to talk about, boy, you hit I guess what would you say, an exacta, or where you not only heard from hockey here, the folks at in New York City say that let's run the Belmont on June 20th. And so, I mean, that, you might have made a nice little exacta. I hope you boxed that. So you got,
always.
Okay. So at any rate, what's your first blush thoughts on the race that's for the first time, the first leg of the Triple Crown?
Yeah.
And obviously they shortened the length of the race. One would, because horses are just like any other athlete that you've got to condition them. You can't just run them a mile and a half right out of the gate. So what do you think first blush here, Ed?
Well, I think it's being proactive. I think that, New York Racing Association and, obviously the Triple Crown looks at this and goes, okay, it's the first duel of the Triple Crown, and, we're going to shorten the race and do right by the animal and do right by the, the sport and the game, and we're going to run it a mile and an eighth instead of a mile and a half, and they're going to have a full field, I believe, of, 16 horses, and it's going to be unbelievable, and, but I just think it's the right thing. And I think what has happened now, Rich, is that what you're going to see that is you're going to have horses that are obviously maturing into their 3-year-old campaign, and some horses just aren't mature enough to be ready to run in their early 3-year-old campaign. So that's why it's so difficult to get the horses to the Kentucky Derby the first Saturday in May, where now it's going to be the first Saturday in September. So I'm fine with it. Look, it's going to hopefully it's only 1 year that we go to a mile and an eighth. But hey, the Belmont gets a chance to kick off the Triple Crown, and we'll see if somebody can pull off the feet. And if they happen to do it, then to me, I will not look at it any differently than I would a normal Triple Crown, because look, this is the hand that's been dealt, and you got to handle the adversity. And I think horse racing to this point has handled it extremely well, and I'm looking forward to being on our NBC horse racing team's coverage. I think I'm on the best team. We have the best leadership, and looking forward to being a part of the Belmont coverage on NBC starting on June the 20th.
Look at you, man. You're a team player right there, even though there is an I in Eddie, but not Olczyk. Hey, man, I'm glad to have you here, and I'm glad that we just don't know the where and when. Obviously, two crucial question marks that need to be exclamation points, but it was still, like you said, great to hear. Here's the format. Here are the teams. Just seeing the logos, seeing team logos, just hearing the names of the teams. It was great. It was a lot of fun, Well,
I appreciate you having me, Rich. Thanks a lot.
You got it. You take care of yourself. That's Eddie Olczyk of NBC Sports and the NHL on NBC, and also, as he pointed out, Triple Crown Racing on NBC. Hey, man, it was, again, like I said, just great to hear it. Great to hear. This is what our plan is. NBA, and by the way, it's smart of the NHL to do that. Smart of the NHL to do it. Certainly while we're waiting to hear from baseball how their financial cake is, the souffle is falling flat right now, even though it's been presented on a plate for us to consume. And, to continue the analogy, chef wasn't ready. It's not ready. It's not cooked. All that said, it's great to just get out there and say, this is the format. Here's what we're going to do. And letting these teams know. Do you think the NBA teams would love to know right now? As Damian Lillard came out and said, if I don't have a shot to make, if this is no viable shot to win, I'm not coming.
Right. And he won't be alone. He won't be the only one.
He's got a family at home. He's not going.
Yeah.
So I that's what's being worked out. But behind the scenes. And hopefully it will get worked out. Matt Nagy's making the rounds today. So we're going to get a coach who's already talked a lot about it. But again, I don't know if anybody who's spoken to Matt Nagy today on the various shows that he's been on are aware of what's going on with their quarterback. There's apparently a quarterback situation in Chicago.
In Chicago?
Yes. I'm
I haven't heard anything about it.
I'm going to be on it. I don't know if anybody else was.
Okay, good.
I'm assuming, Mike Tirico had him on. Mike is usually very buttoned up about that sort of thing. Yeah. Oh, God, Newhouse Communication.
Come on.
I mean, it's, I got in there and decided to go to Michigan instead. I said, thank you, but no to them.
I did too, Rich.
And
I went to Seton
You said
Hall.
thank you, but no to
transferring
Newhouse.
Yeah.
And here I thought was special for me to do that.
Rich.
Now I'm just part of the group.
Are you surprised you got one up by Mike? I mean, come on.
Boom, boom.
I went to Seton Hall instead, he says.
I want to stay home.
Well, by the way,
I wanted to stay home.
I made a decision. You made a decision. It worked out better for me than you in 1989.
Oh, I hate you, Rich.
Wow. My guy went to the free throw line.
Oh. And a phantom foul.
Wow. Oh, yeah. I just went there. Your phone calls when we come back, 844-204-RICH, number to dial. And by the way, about this 4th and 15 rule in football, an interesting tweak I just found out about from the league. So, my apologies already to my executive producer, Don, if I spoke over your countdown NBC there. Try to sneak in that I got an answer, Chris, from our
Did you text Al?
Our hour one, everybody who's been out there in our wormhole and also listening on Sirius XM channel 211 since the beginning of our show, we thank you. Number one. Number two, you will know then that we were wondering in this new kickoff alternative that the league is voting on tomorrow, 4th and 15 from your own 25. You convert it, you keep the ball. You don't, the defense gets the ball wherever it lies.
Love it.
Okay? And I asked the question, what if there's a defensive penalty, like illegal contact? I'm going for it. Game on the line. I need this possession. I'm going for it. Incomplete. Game over. Defense is celebrating. Team of defense is celebrating. Fans of defense is celebrating. Except there's a flag on the play. Defense called for the dreaded illegal contact. Away from the ball, nothing to do with the play. It really is frustrating for fans. What happens then? Is it a first down from the 30? Or is it just a 5-yard penalty and now it's 4th and 10 from the 30? I have an answer to that question. Okay. I asked Al Riveron, the head of NFL refs, that very question. This is what you get when you take in this show with this host.
Do you want to deliver? Or are you going to have Al call in?
I don't need Al calling in. I've got the answer.
Okay. I don't know if he wanted to say it himself. I don't know.
He has said it himself in an email to me, reveal. And he knows that I am responsible enough to throw him under the bus if I don't agree with it. Wait a minute. Did I say that?
Wow.
No, he knows I'm responsible enough to deliver the information as accurately as I have received it from him.
Got it.
I'm attributing the comments to the head of the NFL Refereeing Association, whatever it's called. Head of NFL Officiating. He's the VP of Officiating of the National Football League, Al Riveron. So, I've got that information is what I'm saying. Andy Reid's on tomorrow's show, by the way. So is Mike Zimmer. So is Jim Harbaugh.
It's big Coach's Day.
Coach's Day, yeah.
Coach's Day.
Coach's Thursday.
As we are controlling what we can control.
I love it.
Should we ask each coach what their favorite
post-press conference
cliche is?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
What's your favorite coaching cliche?
We used to do that way back in the day.
Zimmer, I'm going to have Mike Zimmer's playfulness is sometimes in question. But I got that. I got a whole other rest of the show to do here. 844-204-RICH. Call us in the wormhole if you wish. So, by the way, we're launching human beings into space today as a country. Are you? I mean, nobody's talking about that.
It's a huge deal.
It used to be so big when we were kids.
First one since 2011.
Huh. I mean, this used to be big.
This used to be a big deal.
So it's in Florida, where, stop me if you've heard this before, weather is playing with the possibilities here. So good luck to NASA and SpaceX.
SpaceX, yeah. Supposed to go
I'll
off,
be tuning in. I'll be tuned in. 4:30. Yeah, right.
Yeah, 4:30 Eastern.
So yesterday, the big announcement at 4:30 Eastern. Gary Bettman.
Yeah.
Today,
Elon Musk
launching people into space.
Yeah, you can watch it at SpaceX.com.
Is that right?
They have the whole
Are you going to be doing that later?
Actually, their Twitter feed right now has kind of a live thing, live cam going on of the whole setup.
Are they showing like the right stuff and stuff like that? Or they're like legitimately showing like
no, they're legitimately showing Launch America. It's called.
Would you ever do that?
Go into space?
Yes, sir.
No.
Why? First of all, let's just say you can pass the physical aspect of it.
I did just watch Armageddon on Monday.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Spies Like Us. I thought you'd go Spies Like Us.
If those guys can pass all the physical stuff, I'm in good shape.
You ever see Spies Like Us?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So you remember when they were going through
the training?
Yeah, it's great. So
you can get through all
Space
that.
Camp.
Let's say you can get through all
a great movie as a kid.
You still wouldn't go? Oh my gosh!
2 seconds, I would go.
You would go, right?
You wouldn't even have to.
Okay.
And you'd brag about it, Mike. You'd tell everybody you went into space.
I already have a NASA jacket, so I'd just add the patch.
Right.
Okay, but once you get up there, great. There's the Earth. Cool.
Friday night music show from space. Come on.
Then what do you do once you get up there?
Oh my gosh! You look down. You take it in. You take in the sights. Have a few laughs. Go out to the coast. Welcome to the party, pal.
You're
like you and John Glenn have something in common.
Yeah, I mean, that is...
Okay,
you're in space.
If I'm doing it, that means it's available to any Joe Schmo. Then it's not going to be cool anymore.
He does have a point.
By the way, would you be the first ever masshole in orbit? Like, you talk like every Boston sports fan. It's like that, nothing special. Nothing special. It used to be special once, but then you do it once, nothing special. So if other people do it, honestly, you're not happy until you're unhappy. Such a Boston sports fan right over there. That's exactly what it is.
So many parades.
You're not happy.
It's been a long time.
Wait a minute. You're at your happiest when you can be unhappy about something.
Well, they may be unhappy this year.
Did you hear also Bob Kraft? He was on Hannity last night. He said that the ring that was purchased for over $1 million, the Super Bowl ring from the victory over Atlanta, that was purchased in the All-In Challenge for food insecurity relief. By the way, amazing.
Amazing.
He said it was bought by a Patriots fan who wants to remain anonymous for the moment and hopes that person would become public, like will be wanting to become public. So first of all, not you.
It's not me.
Okay,
Sadly,
not you.
Not me.
Reeks of Wahlberg, right? Doesn't it reek of like Wahlberg wanting to say, "I'll give that money for charity"? Doesn't that reek of?
He's got
who wants to donate to get that ring and stay anonymous? Wouldn't any Patriot fan want to show up like on their or is it Affleck? Is that
Matt Damon or those guys, or Chris Evans is a huge Pats fan?
They would say it.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be known?
I don't know. They want to be anonymous. That I gave money to charity, but I don't want to be known that I've given money. Like that's not the point. Is to be known to giving money to charity.
Yeah, but you want it to be known that you've got a Super Bowl ring.
No, I mean, there were people who donated to Run Rich Run significant amounts of money who said, I don't want it. No.
Yeah.
And NFL owners who are being, I ask every single time Steve Bisciotti and his wife Renee give generously, I check with him first, can I say it on the air? And I ask him, it would be helpful if I do say it on the air because owners are competitive. Indeed. And I'm trying to raise as much money as possible.
Indeed. It was not me. Sorry.
I can't believe you wouldn't want to go into space. I would do it. I would do it in
here's
the
deal.
Second.
Going into space sounds cool and it sounds amazing.
Because it is.
What do you do when you get there?
I want to go to the moon.
What do you mean? What do you do when you get there?
The space thing.
What do you do when you get there?
If I'm going up, I want to go to the moon. I want to go and land on the moon.
Let me just put it this way.
That's what you want to do.
Are you saying, out of every possible reason to not go into space, fear of boredom is the list? Or fear of what do I do? Then bring a board game. Play Monopoly.
I mean, the thing is, what am I going to take?
Bring a deck of cards. But the problem is you can't play solid. The cards are all over the place.
You can't do any of that stuff. So what do you do when you get there?
Xbox. You can hold the controller. You're good.
Nothing. Look out the window.
You sound
like my kids.
You have to
look out the window. Do you want to play a game?
Let's
play a game to keep you focused on the drive. What are you, 3?
But here's it. Nothing is normal, okay? So eating is not normal. Going to the bathroom is not normal. I'm in space, so I'm not going to take a nap like I would in the afternoons when I'm here. So what do you do when you get there?
Chris Brockman is writing his new memoir called The Wrong Stuff. The Wrong Stuff. By Chris Brockman. If there is somebody out there in our YouTube stream or anybody out there watching us on NBCSN who has the ability to just make up, or anybody on our staff, I'm throwing it up, anybody to make the meme of Brockman on the cover of The Wrong Stuff would just be fantastic. Fear of just you know
I'm
what?
still waiting for one of you to tell me what you would do.
I want to go to the moon.
What am I going to do except take in the experience and never forget it?
Okay, so after 30 seconds of being like, wow, that's the Earth, that's cool, then what?
What's the most adventurous thing you've ever done? Like, would you never climb a mountain? Like, I wouldn't climb a mountain because I have fear of heights. You know.
No, I'd love to do Everest.
I don't know.
If I could do it, if I was healthy enough to do that.
Because then you just be bored. Once you've completed it, what are you going to do?
I'm just saying, you have a fear of heights,
Really?
but you want to go into space? That's pretty high.
You want to make this a poll question today? Would you go into space, yes or no?
Okay, sure.
No, here's what you say. At Rich Eisen Show. Very rarely do I tell you how to phrase it, but you must phrase it this way. Otherwise, we cannot do this poll question. Okay. Then we'll get to the NFL news that I have.
I do have an actual
I have NFL
question.
news.
Okay, how do you want this worded?
I want it worded at Rich Eisen Show. Would you go into space? Yes. Unforgettable experience. No. What's there to do?
What do you do when you get there?
However you can phrase in the characters allotted to you. No. I'd be bored.
Unforgettable experience.
No, boring. Boring.
No,
It's boring.
not it's boring. He would even be able to admit to you the exhilaration for the moment.
That part wouldn't be boring, but I'm just saying, like,
what do you do when you're in orbit?
After like 30 seconds of, oh man, that's cool. Look at the Earth. It's big and round. Then what?
Should I call an astronaut to call into the show?
Do you know an astronaut?
I do know an astronaut.
You do?
I do.
That has been to space.
I do know an astronaut who has been to space. It's a little bit of a flex.
I mean, I'm a space cadet.
Wow.
But he's running for Senate in Arizona right now, and I don't want to be.
Okay.
I don't want to be like his politics.
You got to do
but
it, Rich.
Mark Kelly, I could reach out to him and say, hey.
I mean, we've got time today.
I mean, it would be fantastic.
I don't know if Martha McSally's ever been. I'd give her equal time. I don't think she's been to space. We don't talk politics, but I can reach. We're
talking about
possibly
space.
reach out to him and say, my guy doesn't want to go into space because
that's not
character. When you get up
that's
there,
not.
What have you done?
It's not that I don't want to go to space. I'm just saying, like, what do you like?
You would answer this poll question, yes or no. Would you go into space? You'd answer.
You said
no.
Unforgettable experience, or what do you do when you get there? I'm saying the months and months of training that would take for me to be physically fit enough to go into space.
By the way, you'd be great.
Then the anxiety of going into a rocket,
of course,
and breaking through the atmosphere and getting into space.
No doubt.
Then after 30 seconds,
yes.
Okay, now what?
Then what?
Then what?
Yeah.
Then what?
Then what?
Then what? Look out the window, Chris.
Okay, but
that's called the Earth you're looking at.
Guess what? Every time I fly in an airplane, you look out the window and you're like, oh, cool, some mountains. Then I go back to sleep. Then what?
Get on Wi-Fi.
I mean, come on. There's no Wi-Fi in space.
How do you know?
You
have
post stuff all the time.
Certainty.
They post stuff all the time from the International Space Station. They tweet.
Come on.
They don't show videos from space. There's no connect. Come on, people. There's communication.
How do we even get somebody to? Someone's calling 844-204 saying I've been to space. Come on now. We can't vet. We can't vet. There's one person who I know.
Here's the poll. Okay. Well, would you go into space? Unforgettable experience. After 30 seconds, then what? That's the poll.
No.
At Rich Eisen Show and vote. Give us a call.
After 30 seconds, then what?
After 30 seconds,
It takes longer to go around the Earth.
The
you got
wrong
at least one.
stuff.
I mean,
no,
come on.
You knew it's the very wrong stuff. The very, very wrong stuff. The awful stuff. The unacceptably lazy stuff.
Wait, lazy? I mean, all right. Do you want to hear my other poll?
No, I don't care to hear your other poll because this is so outrageous. Let me get to my NFL news before Matt Nagy joins, and then we've got phone calls too. So, you know that there is a rule to be voted on in the NFL tomorrow, and I can't wait to ask Matt Nagy about this. 4th and 15 from your own 25. You convert it, you get to keep the ball. You don't have to go onside kick anymore. You have to declare, however, I'm kicking it off deep, or I'm kicking it off, period, or I'm going for it 4th and 15 defense that's just, by the way, giving up maybe 90 yards and is gassed, come back out on the field. Could be used to the offense's advantage. I just went 20 plays, 80 yards. It was 2 yards in a cloud of dust, but it was very effective. And, hey, defense, come back out. I'm going to go for it on 4th and 15 because I know you're gassed and my offense is clicking. I'm going for it. What happens if defense gets off the field? You are celebrating at home. Your defense holds. You're probably winning the game because the offense is more than likely going for it because they're desperate. They got to get the ball. You win the game. It's over. The most annoying flag maybe in the history of the NFL, to me, is the dreaded illegal contact flag thrown on defender away from where the ball was thrown. You didn't see it. Had nothing to do with the play. You're celebrating. Game's over. It's in your team's win column with the exception of, no, across the field. Officials saw illegal contact 5 yards. Is it now 4th and 10 from the 30, or does the usual automatic first down that comes with the 5-yard illegal contact penalty now give the ball to the offense that was in desperate straits, needed a 15-yard conversion, didn't get it, but now does that team get the ball and continue on down the field for a first down? I asked that question of Al Riveron, the head of NFL refs, and I got an email back. Hi, Rich, because he's very polite. He's an avuncular man.
Very, very polite.
Look it up. Think of this option as a regular down and all rules apply with one exception. You may not punt after you declare that you have chosen this option, even if you commit a dead ball foul. Everything else is considered a quote-unquote normal 4th and 15. To answer your question, the result of the play will be a 1st and 10 at the 30 after the 5-yard penalty and the drive continues.
Oh, my gosh. Just wait for the first bogus hands to the face, illegal that is going to be so controversial.
And team gets to keep the ball.
Oh. And they go down to win the game on that bogus, like, defensive holding on the other side of the field where the play isn't even going.
Or it's legit.
Oh, my gosh.
So all you need is just one of those flags. Factor that in your odds as you're doing the math.
We're going to see this.
And the algorithm.
A lot. We're going to see this a lot this year.
I think so. And by the way, all in.
Yeah, totally.
Love
it's cool.
Love it. Let's take a break. Matt Nagy is here on the Rich Eisen Show, head coach of the Chicago Bears. I'm going to ask him about, again, apparently something's going on with their quarterbacks, right, Chris?
I've heard.
Confirmed. Confirmed. Matt Nagy of the Chicago Bears and your phone calls coming up. Let's take a couple phone calls here. Nathan in Los Angeles has been holding on for almost an hour. What's up, Nathan? You're here on the Rich Eisen Show. What's up, sir?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
What's going on?
I had a couple thoughts with regard to how the NFL could address COVID-19 without, in a productive way. Number one, why not give gloves such as what the receivers wear to everyone on the field?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
I mean, the only one who would have to acclimate to that is the quarterback, who has to figure out how to throw with it, so you'd have to worry about that.
Ask Kurt Warner. He'll give you lessons. Kurt Warner will give you lessons on that. Fast.
And the second one would be, if you're going to put masks on the face mask, if you're going to put an N95 type of mask on there, which is a correct thing to be doing, why not embrace that in some ways, such as letting the players kind of design them to make them kind of
it's like the my shoes, like the my cause, like the my cause, my cleats. Week
let
that
them have a freedom to design them in some way that's cool and interesting to them. They can, give money to charity for it if they want. They can give money to COVID-19 if they want. People can buy them if they want.
Yeah,
and that way it's not just a requirement; it's an embrace. It's a celebration.
Thank you very much, Nathan. Appreciate that. Of course, it'll be the first time when the NFL is like, "Yeah, well, you can't say that. Yeah, I can't have that." Ay. I'm up for anything that we can play. And again, there's just so many questions. It's just going to be the issue of how you're going to deal with an infection, because nothing is guaranteed. Nothing. Matt Nagy's been on many shows today already.
Oh, TV, radio.
But not to go Full Metal Jacket, there are many shows like it, but this one is mine.
Nice. By the way, there is
This is
there
my
is Wi-Fi
program.
in space.
Exactly. I mean, you guys.
There's Wi-Fi on the space station.
Exactly.
But they're using like the NASA satellites to get Wi-Fi in the space station.
I do believe that was the original tagline for the movie poster of Aliens. In space, they can hear you tweet.
Yeah, I think so.
So there is Wi-Fi in space. Great.
Brockman
Chris,
was probably scared that
you're
the
in.
alien might
Chris,
come get him. On the...
It's over now. Now you're going to space.
You're worried about the alien coming.
All you got to do is just hook up.
A lot of tweets about that being an Emmy quality segment we just had. Just saying.
Content. We deliver.
Just saying.
Where's Matt Nagy? There are many programs like it, but this one is mine. He's been in a lot of places. Where is he? (844-204-RICH) is the number to dial. Matt Nagy of the Chicago Bears will be calling us shortly. Is he talked out from all the other shows he's done? Not to go all Full Metal Jacket. There are many shows like it. This is my program. There are many shows like it, but this one is mine. Right?
Private Joker.
Private Joker. Who by the way, we've had Vincent D'Onofrio on the show in that seat.
Boom.
We have talked about that. Private Pile. By the way, great Stanley Kubrick movie, which you have seen.
I have seen.
Look at you.
2 different movies. That's
By
kind
the
of
way,
like Stripes.
the number of movies you could catch up on in space. The number of movies you could watch. Citizen Kane. You could be Maltese Falcon.
Maltese Falcon, which I love. That was
All
a
the
great,
movies that you say you would.
Great.
The Maltese Falcon. Where you came up with that one?
Good take. That's also in 1941. That's also an 80-year-old movie.
Yeah, and Chris Brockman, our poll question as we're waiting for Matt Nagy to call our program. What do you have over there, Christopher?
Would you go into space? Okay, our 2 options are unforgettable experience, after 30 seconds.
Then what?
Then what? After 30 seconds, then what? 31%. Thank you to the 31%. Unforgettable experience, 69%. Nice. So, at Rich Eisen Show, vote right now.
You're too much.
If you want to hit that retweet, have at it, Rich.
Oh, sure. I'll send it skyrocketing like SpaceX. What a moron.
All right, Matt Nagy's calling in a minute.
In the meantime, let's go to Jason in New Jersey. What's up, Jason?
Hey, Rich. Love the conversation you and Brockman just had.
Okay.
Completely agree with you guys about going into space and it being an unforgettable experience. I can't believe that that's even, the opposition is even an opinion that Chris would have.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, come on.
I agree. Right? Thank you, Jason.
Unforgettable. I've seen some beautiful things, but being in space would be number 1 on the list.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Jason in New Jersey. I've seen a lot of beautiful things in New Jersey.
I mean,
from the Turnpike.
Rich, you're close to New Jersey where you were born.
Welcome to Atlantic City sign.
Mikey.
You're part of us, in theory.
Part of you.
You really are.
3 of the 4 bridges of Staten Island connect to the state of New Jersey.
I mean,
when I was a reporter at the Staten Island Advance, or as the locals call it, the Advance, there was a vote on seceding from the city of New York. We would have still been a state part of New York. We would have been our own city. Many people were joking that we would just move to New Jersey. We just become part of New Jersey. So I understand. That's why I say I've seen a lot of beautiful things from the Turnpike. I mean, seriously, the sun setting over Secaucus, I will never forget the first time I saw that.
Taylor the Wan has chimed in.
Uh-oh. What is he what is he timing in on?
On the poll question.
Okay.
He says yes, no question.
Of course. What's the matter with you? What happens after 30 seconds? Steve in Richmond, Virginia. What's going on, Steve?
I have something to say about Brockman and his ludicrous idea that going into space there'd be nothing to do. But first, if you'll allow me, I have a testimony to how much of a fan I am of you.
Thank you.
looking at The Last Dance, it reminded me of, and bear with me, how much I could not stand you. And fast forward, you become my favorite person on TV. I swear, when you stop doing football all day on NFL Network, it hurt. If I'm not around the NFL Network on Sundays, it just doesn't feel right. So kudos to you, man, and I just really big fan.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Can you tell that story to other people without the "I used to never be able to stand you"? Can you just lose that part? Would you mind just excising that part?
And to my defense, I was a big fan of Keith and Dan.
It's all good. We were fine. I'm friends with them. Dan was at my wedding. Dan was serving Jägermeister shots to people. He got behind the bar. I mean, I've known Dan for.
I bet he was.
You know, I mean, and Keith, KO. I mean, I still stay in contact with them. But thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
Man.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go. It's okay.
Mike, quick finger.
It's okay. Well, the coach of the Chicago Bears is calling. Matt Nagy, Chicago Bears head coach, back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, sir?
Rich, how you doing?
I'm better for talking to you. I know you've been talking to a lot of people today across the radio dials and television dials everywhere. What's the most obvious question that you got asked today, Coach?
Well, we're getting these questions on how we're handling these Zoom calls, and then I'm getting questions on which I'm supposing same from you in regards to the Foles-Trubisky competition.
Is there something going on there? Is there something up with that?
I just know this much. I know this. I told you last year that we were going to get a special play-in named after you, and I never got to that point. But we got to be a little better this year, a lot better actually, and so we got to keep that thing. That's got to happen this year.
See, you're trying to throw me off the scent by catering to my ego, Coach, and I will let you know. I appreciate that. Number one. Number two, as you know, I try to make life better for you. Always. I try to make life better for you. I was concerned that you, like a fellow follically challenged man, keep going out there with a visor on cold days. Genuinely concerned for you. Concerned about the sunscreen use that you would use. You don't wear a hat. You wear a visor. Have you thought twice about that, Coach?
I thought twice for about 2 seconds, and I said, no, I'm sticking to it, man. I'm going to stick with that visor, and I'm not changing.
You are who you are. You know, you only know.
I am who I am. That's right.
You only know one speed. Okay, so you call it a competition. I heard you use that word. What is how does a competition look to you?
Well,
walk me through how a competition.
Zero competition going on right now over these meetings, but when we get going, whenever that is, I think what's been really good is the fact of our coaches talking through how we're going to go about with reps, creating, ways to evaluate both these guys. They've been really good in the discussions that we're having, just learning the things that we're keeping in our offense, the things that we're not keeping. And, obviously Nick has a history with us in Philadelphia as a rookie, and then in Kansas City as a backup there to Alex Smith, and then obviously other coaches too that are on our staff. But Coach Flip's done a really good job, Coach Laser, of really keeping things going in that room that we have. And when we get out to training camp, whenever that is, or these OTAs, they'll be rocking and rolling.
So is the competition right now as to who's quickest to start their audio with video on the Zoom? Is that part of the competition right now? Between them?
Whoever hits the space bar faster
there you go.
To get off of mute and talk, that's who wins.
You know what? It's got to start somewhere.
Yep.
But let me ask you the question I hear all the time, and I wonder what your answer is to it. And it's the simple question of what happened to Mitchell Trubisky last year. And I know that is rife with a ton of negativity, but we're talking about a guy who was a playoff quarterback the year before, and you were coach of the year. And then last year looked nothing like the year before. And I wonder what your answer and assessment is of the question I get from fans all the time on this subject.
Well, number one, again, in these situations, when you go from winning the division in 2018 at 12-4, and then you go to 8-8, and you lose 4 games in last year, you lose 4 games in a row, and the offense is really struggling, and things aren't going the way you want them to go. One thing that we all understand in the sports world, especially in the NFL, is that, there's only one quarterback. And so that comes with the territory that we all understand that when you win, you're going to get a lot of praise. that you probably shouldn't get, and when you lose, it's the same way. So that said, we all understand that. I understand that as a head coach. We understand that as a team. We know offensively there's a lot of, the magnifying glass is on us because we didn't score enough points. That's what it comes down to, is you have to score touchdowns. You got to score points. You got to be efficient in the red zone. You need to win. That's how quarterbacks are evaluated. And, Mitch in the last 2 years, he's 19-10 as a starter. And so the quote-unquote expectations, the standards that we have, we didn't reach them last year. But there's more reasons than just the quarterback. Now, where Mitch can get better, and he knows this, and that's why I can say it, is we talk about the whole, next play mentality, just being able to continue to, whenever if there's a bad play that happens, have the next play be a good play. If it's a good play that happens, let's have the next play be a better play. And so he's really, there's times in the last this past year where he showed that, and so he's going to keep growing. Now, that said, obviously we brought in Nick, and Nick has been at the top. He's been at the bottom of the valley, and so now you have what we're declaring as a healthy QB competition, and these guys are very, very competitive, and it's going to be interesting to see how it ends up going. But I really think that, for going back to your question with Mitch, that he's going to welcome this challenge, and that he knows too. It's only in fairness that we could have been better in a lot of different areas, including myself, last year as an offense. So,
and look, in terms of human beings, who's going to make the what could be an awkward situation not so much in that room. You couldn't have a better human being than Nick Foles. All that said, Coach Matt Nagy here on the Rich Eisen Show, if the quarterback and Trubisky's issue was, among other things, if a team game, understood, that he had issues with adversity happening and being able to turn the page, how will he handle another person being brought in for his job?
Yeah, well, that'll be the big question, and I think all he can do, and the discussions that we've had, is you can only control your opportunity that you have right now. Control what you can control, and so he's gotten to this point through a lot of hard work, and now, I mean, the way that he has been. In these meetings that we've had, discussions that we've had, I absolutely love his attitude. I don't think he could have handled this situation any better. I mean, you look at a guy that in our situation where we went ahead and made a trade for Nick, and then we're now at a point where, as any person, that when that happens, naturally you're just gonna feel like, okay, how do I make this better? And for probably a day or two, he was that way. And after that, now, ever since, he's been really, really good, and I appreciate that about him. Now, we're gonna go out there, and whenever it is next in OTAs or training camp, go out there and compete. And it's gonna be so good for the Chicago Bears that we have two really good people, like you said, with Nick and with Mitch, in a small room, trying to make the Bears the best team we can be offensively and as leaders. And they're both going to help each other out. And in the end, we hope it helps us out.
I have about 3 minutes left for you before my heart out, as they say in the television and radio business. Coach Matt Nagy of the Bears. The vote on the 4th and 15 play, that would be an option for you as opposed to an onside kick. Do you like that? Would you vote for it? Yay?
Again, I know I'm on the line with it, but I really, whatever they say, I'm cool with. I think that what you have to do is, if it is 4th and 15, you got to start having some plays that are going to give you the best opportunity possible. Because again, the onside kick is such an intriguing. If you look at us, go back last year, we actually had some good success with onside kicks. So I'm good either way. I love opportunities at 4th and 15, but shoot, our Coach Tabor's done a great job with our special teams in the last couple of years, so I'm good with that too.
And what about just doing the math and maybe attempting it to steal a possession? You're up. Would you do something like that?
You could. I mean, it's I don't know. I have to study it more. I know it's definitely unique, and I like that part about it. But there's going to be some questions that they'll bring out to us and tell us, the way, things that you can do and things that you can't do. And I'm really excited to see what they say.
All right, Coach, really appreciate the time. Thanks for joining. You can't see, but I do have the visor that you sent. I'm wearing it right now.
I love it.
And I'm pleased to say, even though I think the show's been doing real well since you sent it to me, my head size is the same. It hasn't gotten any bigger. It still fits. So it works.
That's very important. But I appreciate your support, and you do a heck of a job with all this stuff. I hope you and your family are staying
Thank you.
healthy and safe and everything, and appreciate it.
I appreciate it, but again, the visor just only accentuates the follically challenged part of the lid. I just need to channel my inner Matt Nagy and just roll with it.
Hey, just be you, man. Be you.
Okay, be you. I see that on your play sheet all the time. Still out there, Coach. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
All right, Rich. Take care. See you.
You got it. That's Matt Nagy. Kind of went like a little few good men on him. So if the quarterback struggled with turning the page on adversity, if the quarterback struggled with getting rid of the negativity of a bad play and turning it into next snap good play, or good play turning it into next snap great play, if that was the quarterback's problem, then why did the quarterback need to have another quarterback and adversity added? If that's the issue, then why the code red? Why was Santiago touched? If the idea was not to touch him. Oh, boy.
Yeah, man.
That's the situation. He's going to have to deal with it because Nick Foles is going to take it the minute Trubisky falters or shows that he hasn't been able to handle it. I guess he can't handle the truth. To go for few good men right there. We'll see. Terrell Davis and your phone calls, 844-204-RICH. If you're on hold, stay on hold. We'll take them in hour 3. I had no idea we're now having an Ask Mike DelTufo social media Twitter segment. The first one was, what's a good first date? Helicopter ride to Catalina for dinner, then back again if you don't stay overnight.
Is this $1 million matchmaker? Like, that's high rolling.
You want to tell Emmanuel what your idea, great for a first date, is?
Helicopter ride to Catalina, dinner, and back.
Yes.
Really? For
Wait,
a first date? Somebody that you've just met?
Hell yeah.
Really?
You want to make an impression?
You wouldn't be totally freaked out if somebody...
No, I would be like, wow, this is your first date? I can't wait to see what the second date is.
That would be a flight to San Francisco for dinner.
Now it just gets creepier.
I mean, listen, if that person
Yes.
is into all of those things, yeah.
Oh, my.
All right, DelTufo, you're in.
Wow.
I have no comment.
Now, you're so sweet. What would be a no-no for you?
You want to know, like, lame?
Yeah, sure.
Like, if a first date was like, yeah, so let's go get dinner and go see a movie, I'd be like, no.
Really?
A movie? You can do that, like, when you've been dating for 6 months.
What if the movie's Super Troopers 2?
Okay.
Tell Michelle Beadle what your answer was to somebody's question of what's your perfect idea of a perfect first date.
A helicopter ride from Los Angeles to Catalina for dinner and then back.
Wow. For the first date?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michelle.
Who is this girl? That's a lot. I don't want to die with some stranger on a first date in a helicopter.
I'm
That's
1
what
and 1.
saying.
I'll take my one. I'll take the 500.
Emmanuel Shrieky said she loved it.
I mean, she's more woman than me.
She's way
No,
too
take her word. I take her word now. I'm back on board.
Thanks, Michelle.
from the Rich Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.
Hey, Big Rich.
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
It has been so refreshing, to get back to the old Rich Eisen show.
I appreciate that, sir.
Heard nationwide, televised online at richeisenshow.com. Earlier on the show, Yahoo Sports senior NFL reporter Charles Robinson, NHL on NBC analyst Eddie Olczyk, Chicago Bears head coach Matt Nagy. Coming up, Pro Football Hall of Famer Terrell Davis. And now, it's Rich Eisen.
Well, hey, everybody. Hour number 3 of the Rich Eisen Show on the air. I'm just sending an email to the only person I've ever met or know that's been in space.
Oh, you did?
See if he'll join us.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm bringing this up to kick off our final hour is because with my compadres across the aisle, Chris Brockman and Mike DelTufo, we had a great chat last hour in between chatting hockey and football with Eddie Olczyk of NBC Sports and Matt Nagy of the Chicago Bears, who said Trubisky had issues turning the page, seemed like, on a negative play, turning a negative play into a good play or a good play into a great play. Which makes it interesting that they brought in somebody to force him to turn the page on thinking about not being a Bear anymore. Not picking up his 5th-year option. Putting a lot of adversity on that kid's plate. Says he's handling it so far, although they're only in Zoom meetings. I did confirm that the Bears quarterback competition right now is who hits the space bar quick enough to be taken off of mute on Zoom faster. I didn't ask him who's winning that competition so far. Is that Trubisky or Foles? I'm going to go Trubisky because he's younger. I'm going to say Foles might have a little bit more problem with technology. That's what I'm going to say right now.
I mean, he used the tweet button properly during the match.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Terrell Davis is going to be joining us in 18 minutes' time. But I just mentioned after we're off the air, 9 minutes after we're off the air, if weather goes well in Florida, go figure this. Weather in Florida, as we saw, wreaked a little bit of havoc technologically with Tiger Woods' mic. So I imagine a manned space flight taking off.
No chances.
Despite Elon Musk having, all the Bitcoin in the world, you gotta delay it, right? But it seems like SpaceX is going to take off. Our poll question is based on all of this. I said I would love to go into space. You too, Mike.
In a heartbeat.
I know that. Our problem would probably be passing the physical to get up there.
No, I couldn't even. Yeah.
And Brockman's like, what am I going to do once I get up there?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds great in theory, but after you get up there, you take a look outside. Cool, there's Earth. Then what do you do?
Then what? So our poll question, Chris, what are the current results?
So the options are: would you go into space? Option 1, unforgettable experience. Option 2, after 30 seconds. Then what? After 30 seconds, then what? 34%.
Oh my God, it's gaining steam.
We're trending in the right direction.
What's the matter with people?
Unforgettable experience, 66%.
I mean,
what's the matter with people?
Those are the same people that would go on the Avatar ride in Disney World, though, and think, "Oh, that wasn't that."
There you go. That's it, right there.
The wrong stuff.
The wrong stuff. And now, you're the mother of your child. Okay, thanks to Brett Baker for that visual right there. The mother of your child, Sarah Tiana, quoting you from last hour. There's no Wi-Fi in space.
That's fantastic.
She says that's literally where Wi-Fi comes from.
I mean, she didn't study thermodynamics at Georgia State. I don't know what she's talking about. She doesn't know the origins of Wi-Fi, with all due respect.
What does Wi-Fi have to do with thermodynamics other than just having to Google the word?
Just throwing a bunch of smart words out there.
The big word alert for me.
So basically,
where does Wi-Fi come from? Let's see what the Google says.
Took the mother of your child. You just took down the mother of your child. Not only slagging on her for coming at you and being right, but you threw in Georgia State in a very derisive manner, I must add, as well.
I'm just saying that's not what she studied while she was there. So, how does she know where Wi-Fi comes from?
How do you know that Georgia State might be the absolute leader in the field of Wi-Fi technology, Chris?
And that might be true, but that's not what she studied. That's my point. With all due respect, of
I don't know
course.
what point you. There it
With
is
all
right
due
there.
respect.
Oh, look at that.
Yes.
Look at that.
The name is Masshole. Great stuff, man. I didn't know that Masshole was the part of the original. One small step for man, one giant leap for Big Poppy.
I mean, that sounds great.
One giant leap for Dustin Pedroia.
The original Dirt Talk. Trot Nixon.
One small step for man, one giant leap for Tom Izzo. Oh, Larry Izzo, pardon me. Larry Izzo. Or as George Bush called him, Larry Izzo. Remember he called him that?
Yeah, Larry.
Oh, man. Let's go. Who's been holding on the longest? Al in Pennsylvania. You're on the Rich Eisen Show. What's up, Al?
Rich.
Yes, you're on the air, sir. You're on delay.
Okay. Yeah, good. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for making it.
Listen, to get on the poll question here, I would definitely love to go into space. You know, it'd be an unforgettable experience. But to me, I would only go into space under one condition.
Okay.
And that's if I could take along, or if they had like 100-foot bungee cord, so I could get out there and take a spacewalk.
Very good.
That would make it more unbelievable. I would want to take a spacewalk, have a camera out, take as many pictures as I could, or something like that. And if my bungee cord broke or something like that, then I'd be out floating in space until a meteorite hit me and blew my ashes all over space or something. You know, that'd be better than cremated.
Al, it's moving and vivid all at this very same time. Thank you for the call. Appreciate that. All I know is we still haven't gotten somebody who's agreed with you at all. And you don't need to be an expert in thermonuclear physics or whatever. Al just made a very salient point, although it started devolving into graphic, but made a very salient point, even though I think we can all agree that's not a bungee cord.
No.
It's probably something a little bit more significant lifeline-wise.
But again,
don't need to know it.
Then what? Like you go outside, you do your little walk, you do a somersault. Okay, cool. Then what? Then what do you do?
Let's go to Rich in New Jersey. You're here on the Rich Eisen Show. What's up, Rich?
Hey, Rich. Big fan.
Yes, sir.
And my question is this.
Yes.
What would, for you, be more awesome?
Okay.
Going to space.
Yes.
Or actually seeing the Jets in a Super Bowl?
Both are unlikely.
Both are pretty much unlikely.
Excuse me.
It's so true.
Excuse me.
That could be the...
Hold on. So they don't have to win. They just have to get there.
Well, winning would be better. See, here's the thing. I'm a Giant fan, and there's 3 boys in my family, and me being the youngest.
Yes.
And my brother Larry, who's the middle child, he's a Jet fan. So I had said to him years ago, and I have this like warped sense of humor, things that pop in my head, and I hope you're not going to cut me out on this. I don't think it's that risque. But we were getting into an argument about the Giants and the Jets, and I said to him, Larry, your team is never going to win, the Jets. And he said, what do you mean by that? And I said, well, let me ask you a very simple question. I said, who's the owner of the Jets? Well, you know the answer to that, right?
Okay, yeah, okay.
Woody Johnson,
I understand.
Right?
I think...
So, if Woody Johnson is the owner of the Jets, and my contention is, if you're a player on the Jets, would you bust your butt for a guy named Penis?
Okay, very good. Thank you for the call, sir.
You saw where that was going?
Yeah.
First of all, the short answer is yes, I would. Secondly, he's the ambassador to the United Kingdom right now, so that's quite an American we're talking about now. Look, I'm not going to space. The Jets making the Super Bowl is absolutely far more likely than me being in space. All right, Chris, laugh all you want.
Sorry.
Laugh all you want, man.
Do they test for mono before you go to...
Stid.
Oh, yeah, do you have to pass? You have to pass a mono test as part of the NASA training, right? I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Everybody having fun.
Oh, wait, hold on. There's somebody that agrees with me on the line.
Who's that? What do you got for me?
Line 5, Al in Dallas. Let's
Oh,
go.
come on, Al. Al, don't throw him a lifeline like this, Al.
Come on.
Come on, Al.
Don't do it.
I can't go on a roller coaster, Rich. You think I'm going to go up in space, for God's sakes? Who wants to go in space?
But, I mean, I understand. I don't like going on roller coasters either. I'm just talking about conceptually. If I can get up to space, I would absolutely do it in a million.
You look at the Earth, what do you do? Then they make you work. You do tests. You're not just hanging out. You got to work. Haven't watched any of those space movies? It's not Star Wars. It's work.
It's not.
With Brockman. Listen, Brockman and I, we're simpatico on this.
You get it, Al.
You and I are simpatico.
By the way, we have now found the guy who can give the quote for the back of Brockman's book, The Very Wrong Stuff. Alan Dallas. It's not Star Wars, it's work.
It's forward, it's
Thank
backwards,
you.
whatever you need, I got.
You got the backwards. Thank you, Al. There you go.
It's not Star
Come on,
Wars.
man.
That was classic.
It's just like
It's not Star Wars, it's work.
It's work.
By the way, like Star Wars was a walk in the park.
It's like the Grand Canyon. Like cool.
Oh, no.
Now what? It's just a big hole. Like, what are we doing?
I still take that side of the plane, hoping to see it every time I come into L.A.
I mean, come
Still
on.
do that. I've been in it, been down in it, around it.
You don't really mean that about the Grand Canyon.
He does not.
By the way,
mean that.
now I got to really get Mark Kelly on because he's from Arizona. And I mean, how many more ways can you insult somebody who's an astronaut from Arizona? I don't need to go to space. It's boring. Wants to go to the Grand Canyon.
All right. Sarah's mom just texted me. She said she felt the same way about Niagara Falls. Saw it, left after 15 minutes. Like, it's a bunch of water going over the thing.
Hold on a minute.
Like, I totally get it.
Hold on a minute. Put him on the phone line.
Oh, he's on.
Oh, yeah.
Is this astronaut Mark Kelly on the Rich Eisen show?
It is, Rich.
Yes!
Happy to be here.
First of all, thank you for calling. Secondly, I appreciate you taking part out of whatever your busyness of your day is and my friend Chris Brockman across the way here from me.
Your wife is calling me right now.
Because Susie wants to make sure that this happened, because Susie makes all great things happen. He does not think going into space is something he wants to do, because once you get up there, what do you do? So I wanted to have you call in and give your 2 cents on the subject, Mark.
Well, on my 4 missions into space between 2001 and 2011, we built a 1 million-pound space station in orbit. And it took more than 100 spacewalks, and I personally, in my spaceship, carried up big sections, heavy Japanese laboratory on one flight, a $2 billion cosmic particle detector on my last mission into space. It takes a lot of work. There is not 1 second of boredom. We're incredibly busy doing important things, and this flight today is really exciting for our country. American astronauts launching again on American rockets from American soil.
Which is what we're very excited about. Now, here's the thing, though, Mark, is you're a doer. You're a doer. You're a man. You're an accomplished man. My guy, Chris, is not a doer. He's not. He's not going up there to work and accomplish. He's going up there just to go.
Yeah.
And his point is, what do you do once you're up there? And do you even have a response for something like that? Forget about, just put your sense of accomplishment and who you are aside for a second. What do you do?
If we took Chris up, if I took him up in the space shuttle as a passenger, and he got to go into orbit around the Earth, and travel at 17,500 miles an hour. That's 25 times the speed of sound, by the way. And go to this International Space Station and see the Earth as a big, round ball. Let me say that again, if there's any doubters. Round ball. To get to see that is something that it's just so unique, and it's so incredible. And, Chris, you would love every minute of it.
Okay, and
what about after 1 minute?
Come on! Come on!
I didn't say you would love 1 minute of it. I said you would love every minute of it.
And so, one last question: is there Wi-Fi for him to like stream movies and stuff up there?
Well, we get on the space station. We get stuff sent up to us. There are ways. It's not exactly Wi-Fi, but there is internet access. You're actually controlling a cursor on a computer on the ground. There's a camera on it. It's probably improved over the last 9 years. But yeah, you have movies and sports. We'll watch the Super Bowl as an example live from the space station.
Exactly. There you go.
TV. Yeah.
He can watch us. I mean, you watch the most important game of the year, Chris.
All right.
We get that in space.
All right, I've officially been dunked on by an astronaut.
You're done.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. That was
I really
awesome.
appreciate it. You're the best.
Well, hey, thanks for having me on, Rich. Call me anytime. Anytime there's a space thing, give me a call.
No, actually, I do want to give you the floor one more time on the importance of this space flight today. Mark, go for it.
Yeah. So since the last space shuttles landed in 2011, I was the last commander of Space Shuttle Endeavour, and then Atlantis flew in July. So I flew in May and July. Since those space shuttles, and the one I flew is at the California Science Center there in L.A., where you are. And since then, we've had to rely exclusively on the Russians to get our astronauts to the space station that we mostly built. Unfortunate situation we're in. Today, we are out of that situation. So now we're going to send U.S. crew members, astronauts Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken today, up to the International Space Station on a rocket built by SpaceX, built by Americans, launched from American soil. It's a big deal. And then from here, we're going to go back to the moon, on to Mars someday. This is great for our country, and it's great for the future.
Mark, thanks for the call. Really appreciate it.
Hey,
take care.
Good to be on.
You bet.
Have a good day.
You get it. That's Mark Kelly. See, to back up my point, I get Mark Kelly.
I mean, geez.
Astronaut. Boom. 4 missions.
Boom.
How about that
flex?
flex?
Dallas saying in Star Wars.
How about that flex right out of the gate? Right out of the gate, Mark. Well, on my 4 missions and 100 spacewalks.
It's
like Michael from the foul line. Like, that was amazing.
Check for the foul.
Boom.
Boom. Oh.
It's like Sean
That
Kemp,
could be
and he's
one
like
of-
pointing at me like Chris Gatlin.
And of course, I say to Susie, I'm like, we got him.
That was amazing.
That was.
She got him. She got the fun. God bless my wife.
Gosh,
So
that was
good.
amazing.
So I got Susie and Mark Kelly teaming up, and you got Alan Dallas.
Hey, look. I love you, Al.
It is work, by the way. You want to talk about work?
Oh
That's
my
work.
gosh.
Yeah.
But you don't want to work.
I don't want to do that.
You have
We're just going to
accomplishment.
see.
You have no sense of work at all. We see that every day.
I'm going to work. Easy.
You haven't seen him in the back.
Wow. That was good.
Oh, full on dunking on Brockman is taking place.
That was incredible.
Whew.
All right.
844-204-RICH is the number to dial here on the Rich Eisen Show. Terrell Davis will be calling us next. My compadre from NFL Network will talk a little bit of ball with one of the all-time great in terms of toting the rock and in terms of being a human being. That's next.
So good.
Gosh darn it.
That was so good.
Oh, my gosh.
I've seen
He's
them
so
land.
funny.
I've
in
never
my
seen one.
4 trips.
Right out of the right out of the gate in my 4 missions and 100 spacewalks.
By the way, I would absolutely flex like that. And anybody will tell you, if you're an astronaut, you have every right to flex.
Even watching them land was cool. I saw one land here and one in Florida. And I never got to see one take off the space shuttle.
Right.
Because it rained when we went down.
Yes.
And they delayed it and we didn't stay. Just to see them go up and down, it's insane. Forget being up there. That's like another level to be there. I envy. I would love to do that.
What do you do?
Brockman.
Right.
I mean, Brockman would love it now, too.
Hey, watch the Super Bowl from up there.
I mean,
okay.
The spacewalk.
Oh, great. Would you go?
Come on.
This is great.
Come on. That's crap.
That's wonderful.
Get outta
That
here
is
with
a
that. Get outta here
wonderful
with that.
rendition explaining to our Sirius XM. Oh, hell yes. A little Sam Jackson from Pulp Fiction. Unforgettable. And then, hell no, you're on your clown face.
Well, not even the best looking clown one, too. I mean,
Is that the one that pisses?
that's the one that Stone Street
Stone Street hated, right?
Yeah. That one.
That
I
was
love
the
how
final
Stone
one,
Street
but he
got
still
so
hated it.
upset about that because he was offended as a clown aficionado.
Yeah. He was
That's
not
like that Seinfeld show. Are you offended as a Jewish person?
That
No, I'm
was the
offended as a
final one
comedian.
that was researched, too,
Oh,
right?
my gosh.
Chris, that was the final one. That
Oh, boy, I needed
Yeah, I
that
did
laugh,
too.
man.
That
That
was
was funny.
Good
By the way, if Mark didn't call in, I am fresh out of astronauts.
That's all you got.
That's all I had. That's all I got.
Right.
That's all I got.
I mean, that was so good. Right out of the on my 4 missions. That was.
Oh man, what a flex! All right, cool. All right, that was fun.
And yet, a third of the poll people are like, what are you going to do once you get up there?
I'm just saying.
What do they think? It's going to the park?
Oh, man. Oh, yeah.
34%. We're gaining steam.
Though we're apart these days, we're sharing more. Geico would just like to say thanks. Thanks for sharing your savage dance moves, your DIY haircut fails, your stories about your 4 trips to the International Space Station. Now it's Geico's turn to share, too, with the Geico Give Back, a 15% credit on car and motorcycle policies for current and new customers. And because Geico's committed for the long haul, the 15% credit lasts your full policy term. Visit geico.com/giveback for info and eligibility. Back with NBCSN and Terrell Davis in a second. We'll ask TD. You got to ask TD about that, right? By the way, oh, my God. He's flown with the Blue Angels.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
one of my favorite videos of all time. Out.
That's true.
John Elway laughs his ass off every time. That is a staple of NFL Network Super Bowl coverage.
We used to have that on Recue.
Poor TD had no idea we were going to bring that up today, but it's actually dovetails to our subject. Fantastic. So there's our poll question up there. Would you go into space? Oh, hell yes. And by the way, love the choice of Samuel L. Jackson from Pulp Fiction, raining fury down upon Chris Brockman, as I just did, flexing by the only astronaut I know, Mark Kelly.
That's all you needed, Rich.
Calling in.
That was incredible.
All it took was one text to my wife, Susie. Hey, can you let Mark Kelly know this is what I'm looking for? Boom. Astronaut on the spot. Chris Brockman says, no, I don't want to go there. What else am I going to do when I get up there? Mark Kelly calls in. And as I just mentioned during the break, I might as well repeat it here. If Mark did not call in, I was out, fresh out. That was it. I'm out of astronauts, Chris.
Thank you.
You're out of Allen Dallas.
I'm out of
Allen Dallas is your support.
I'm out of Alice.
What am I going to do? I can't go on roller coasters myself. What do I want to go up there for? It's not Star Wars, it's work. And then I got, on my 4 trips to the International Space Station, I built things. We worked, and we loved it.
I mean,
wow.
Fantastic.
All right.
So,
844-204-RICH, number to dial. He is one of my good friends. I love being able to call him that. He's been on the show multiple times, and he's here not only on behalf of just himself and being just a great human being, but we're going to talk about his new company Defy and what that's all about. He's talked about it before. Let's talk about it again. He's Terrell Davis. How are you, TD?
Rich, how you doing?
Better for talking to you. You want to ask Terrell Davis the poll question, Chris Brockman, since we're having a really good time with it today? Because SpaceX, I don't know if you see that we're launching human beings into space today.
Yeah,
Terrell,
I saw that.
Okay. Go ask him that question. Ask him the question, Chris.
All right, TD, would you want to go into space? Unforgettable experience, yes. Or no, after 30 seconds, then what?
Yeah, I'm more of the probably not. I'm all right. Like, I think I don't have a fascination with outer space and going to a planet or somewhere where people... It's just not been there. They haven't been there enough times to tell me exactly what's happening. So no, I'm not that intrigued to go to space.
TD, let's get full disclosure then. You got to get to full disclosure then. Is it because of your loss?
It's not the Blue Angels. No, Rich,
it wasn't. No. Terrell, we have seen TD versus gravity. That has happened before.
No.
And you passed out flying with the Blue Angels. This has nothing to do with that experience. For you.
It has nothing to do with that. It's not even that. Number one, I've flown with the Thunderbirds. I've flown with the Blue Angels.
Right.
That was my second time flying with them, and you know what the mission was. The minute I went up there, the pilot we were up there for an hour, and he wore me out. And he got me. He caught me slipping on that one because we were coming in to land a plane. And he told me, he said, "Listen, are you up to do one more maneuver?" And I said, "You know what? Not really. You know, I'm kind of worn out." He said, "Oh no, it's only about a 1-2G turn, so don't worry about it." And I was like, "All right, cool, whatever. You know, if that's the case, then do it." He pulled a 7G turn on me. I wasn't even ready for it, and he put me to sleep. So he caught me slipping, Rich. But yeah, you know what? Everybody get caught slipping every once in a while.
Did you give the pilot a talking to, Terrell Davis, once you came to?
Yeah. I told his ass, "Don't ever do that again." I said, "Don't ever do that again, man." 'Cause I woke up. I said, "Did you just put me to sleep?" He said, "Yeah, but you're back with me, buddy." I said, "Don't ever do that again."
What Super Bowl was that you did it for NFL?
That was that was the one that was in Arizona.
Okay,
who was playing that one? Was that the Steelers and the?
It had to have been. It couldn't. No, it couldn't. No, the Steelers and the Cardinals was in Tampa. That probably was the Patriots going for the perfect season versus the Giants, TD, because we have been showing that every single time for a Super Bowl thereafter when John Elway pays a visit. Like, if anybody wants to see another human being laugh at a great friend's expense. It's when John Elway, we would show it to him, and he would. You can't even use the word cackle to describe what he did with delight and glee, to the point where he would then come on and request it.
Yes.
To see that video.
Yeah, that's certainly. It is the go-to for him. So if you want to get John Elway laughing and hysterically, play that video.
I'm sorry to bring it up, TD. You didn't expect this to be brought up.
That's all good.
I
didn't expect it, but that's okay.
I know we're talking about manned space flight.
I'm a team player.
How are you doing otherwise? Everybody good in your neck of the woods? Life's good? Everybody healthy right now?
Everybody's well. Yep, everybody's well. We're, like everybody else, just trying to figure out when we'll be able to get back into the normal routine. But, everybody's well, man.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm very, very glad to hear that. What do you think of I like the Broncos draft, TD. I liked what your guy Elway did. I think they're building do we call it a sneaky good offense? I mean, when you've got the running back group that they have, and you add Jerry Jeudy now. I mean, I kind of like what they've done right now. What do you think?
I agree. I think this is you get a sense from the way the season ended last year, where you got Locke, who kind of opened some eyes up and really got the confidence and the teammates and his teammates excited about him as a quarterback. And as you know, for many years, Denver has been looking for that guy. So I think he's not only showing it on the field, but I think his personality in the locker room has really come through. And I think that's what people are looking at. When you have a guy that has an infectious personality that is able to connect with the players and still go on the field and perform at the same time, I mean, that's encouraging. And he seems to have that it factor. You know, when the game is on the line, he seems to be calm, and he seems like he might be that guy. So I think the Bronco country is really excited about that. And you talked about it. You go draft Jerry Jeudy, first rounder, get KJ Hamler in the second. Then they drafted Albert O in the fourth round. So they're putting a lot of weapons around this young quarterback, and then you go out there and get Melvin Gordon, the free agent, which I like. And the reason I like Melvin Gordon is because he's a veteran running back. They didn't pay a lot to get him, and anytime you can get depth in this league and have running backs that's a little different in skill sets, it's always a plus. So man, I'm pretty excited about what Denver looks like this year, and but it's got to play out, man. You're in that division with Kansas City, so points have to. You got to go out there and be a team that's – their defense will be good. But I think to kind of combat what Kansas City is doing, you got to have an offense.
Plus, Melvin Gordon's going to have a chip, certainly against the Chargers. The two times they take him out. How do you see the splits going, running back, with Phillip Lindsay and Melvin and the rest of the crew? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know, because a lot of times it's a feel for a game. It's game plan specific. You know. Especially because you have guys with two different skill sets. I imagine it's going to start off with Melvin being, the first, second down back. But if the package is there, if they're running a wide open offense, maybe it includes, Philip Lindsay a little bit more in that, but I don't know how they're going to divide that the reps up. It might just be by feel, and the hot man gets the potato, man. I don't know.
Terrell Davis here on the Rich Eisen Show. Hey, did you see the Last Dance? You check that one out?
I did. Of course, man. I saw that.
What do you think of the whole conversation about Jordan's demeanor with his teammates and his leadership skills and the way he went about it?
Yeah, I think people were a little surprised by it because unless to see it from the inside, you look at. I think they see Michael Jordan in a different light. I mean, he was brutal. I mean, he was hard on a lot of his teammates. But I'm not surprised by that, and I've seen that with great leaders, and I've seen that with really talented players. He wants to be great, and he expects everybody else to be the same way. And he held them to a standard and held them accountable. And it might have been his style is different than how I use my leadership style, but that's the way Michael Jordan felt he had to motivate players. And I wasn't like a lot of people like, man, there's a lot of people were upset and in their eyes, it might have diminished Michael Jordan's kind of this stellar image that he had, but it didn't take away from, in my standpoint, it didn't take away from the way I see Michael Jordan.
Well, I mean, the thing that got me, it didn't change the way I looked at Jordan either.
Okay, good.
But no, not at all. I mean, shoot, you saw me in episode 10 with hair. I mean, I was covering it at the time.
I know.
You saw that.
I saw a little young Rich Eisen.
You saw that, right? I mean, I was there. I was there. I was covering it. I was the guy sitting next to Stuart Scott, so I couldn't get a sniff of the Jordan highlights on SportsCenter. I couldn't even do that. So, no, so it didn't change my opinion of him at all. It's him saying...
I'm surprised, though, Rich. I'm surprised how much I didn't know he had. I mean, the man had a cigar everywhere he went. Like, he smoked a cigar 24 hours a day. I was shocked by that. I didn't realize.
No, yep. And to this day, even too. But no, the thing that got me is that he said if you disagreed with it, I'm paraphrasing here, then you haven't won anything. And, there's been a lot of guys, maybe you didn't win 6 and lose 0 in the opportunities that he made it to the finals. But, I mean, he did get knocked off before he won his first three-peat, and then he did, come back to the point where he wasn't physically able to compete for a championship before another three-peat. But, I mean, like, what is Elway like? I mean, Elway's a goat.
Like that. Yeah,
he was not like that, right? What was he like? What was he like?
No, but there's different leadership styles, and we know that. And there's different players who they play different roles. John's leadership style was more of he was going to go play and ball out, and that's the way he led. And he would rarely say anything, and if he said something, it was very significant. I mean, it meant something. But it might be the fact that it's two different sports too. I mean, because I hear Kobe Bryant was pretty, verbal about his leadership style. And in football, you got so many players. Like, you're not going to be out there talking to everybody like that. That's just too much going on. But John was about handling his business, leading by example. If he had to say something to you, he would. But for John, man, just to get on the field with him, the presence of John Elway made me have to play better. I had to gain his respect. I had to make sure that I didn't mess up, that I was coming to bring my A game every time I played because I had to answer to him. And you didn't want to let him down. You felt like he had more authority than the coaches. It's like Peyton Manning. When Peyton Manning's on the field, man, you feel like that's the person that I got to play for this guy. Otherwise, I'm not going to be in this huddle. And so it was a different leadership style. But yeah, I wasn't shocked by it.
Yeah,
demanding.
Yeah, I know. And, I mentioned that to Shaq when he came on, and Shaq's like, what do you think I was like? You know what I mean? That it's not just, specific to Michael, that there's a certain demanding quality that, you would think maybe every Hall of Famer has it, but that's the difference between being great and all-time great in many people's minds, right? And certainly you excuse it if it's particularly rough when it results in 6 championships and no losses in 6 NBA finals,
Yeah, and you can say the same thing for coaches too, Rich. I mean, there's coaches who they don't bite their tongue. You talking about like Bill Parcells? He was rough, like he was straight direct. You listen to Bill Belichick and how his style is, and then you have some coaches like Mike Shanahan who wasn't like that, or Pete Carroll or some other coaches. They have just different styles, and as long as you're winning and you're successful, people will excuse it. They'll be like, okay, he's rough. He's a little abrasive, but he's winning and got their attention, and people just they accept it.
Terrell Davis here on the Rich Eisen Show. We've been talking about how people do their business. Let's talk about your business. I give you the floor on Defy and what it is and how people could seek it out for some help.
Yeah, Defy is a CBD performance drink, and it has 0 THC in it. We've been around for our anniversary was a week ago on the 21st. So yeah, we made it 1 year.
Happy anniversary!
It has electrolytes in it, coconut water, B vitamins. It's really helpful for you to perform, maintain, recover. It's a really good pre-workout, post-workout drink. We just launched our Defy Zero, which is coming out next week, and you can get our stuff at drinkdefy.com. And it's really helped me out, man. I've been on CBD for 3 years now, and it's really allowed me to be able to work out harder, recover faster. Inflammation's gone, pain is gone. It's really been, to me, it's been a life-altering experience, and that's why I was able to get with my team, and we developed Defy. And so we're pretty proud about it, man. So check us out again, drinkdefy.com. The other thing we did was during this pandemic, we were able to donate over $400,000 worth of products
That's
to
amazing.
Feeding America throughout this country. So we just try to do our part and, just try to give back when we could, and we're really proud that we could do that.
To help you with your migraines, TD? How often do you have those still?
Yeah, so the other thing that I didn't expect was, I've been having migraines since I was 9 years old, and I've substituted out my migraine preventative medicine, which was an anti-inflammatory, for my product, the CBD that I'm taking. And so the last 2.5 years now, I've had one migraine, and so that's been remarkable. And that was like a half migraine. So it really works as an anti-inflammatory to help me prevent and manage my migraines. And I have been more than thrilled that has been the case, because I did not expect it to I wasn't even thinking about that until I read more research about that. And there were some articles and some research that suggested that it can help with migraines. And and it's been that's really been the key for me, man.
Has there been any research from you or your team about how Defy could help anybody stay conscious during a 7G turn that a pilot turns on a dime? Has there been any research on that?
No research with that, Rich, but we're working on it. And I'll let you know what we come up with after we do some research to keep people awake.
I have been told during the process.
That's the question. So what was your answer about the space?
Of course I'd go into space. Are you kidding me?
You would go to space?
Why wouldn't I? Why not?
And do what?
What do you
Terrell Davis, baby.
What if you have mechanical issues and you can't get back to Earth? Are you cool with that? You fine with that? Stand up there?
No. We had an all things being equal situation here, all right? That I would be, first of all, you want to talk reality. I'm not passing a physical to be sent into space right now as a 50-year-old man. You were part of the original 40-yard dash, TD. You've had a front row seat. Okay?
Yeah.
So, if you want to bring in reality to this, I'm just saying, would I want to go? I said yes. I turned to Chris Brockman, with whom I think I share a kinship and a similar sensibility of life. And every now and then, he'll turn up and say something dumb like, yeah, but then what? I go up, then what? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I feel, how old are your kids, TD?
9, 7, and 5.
Okay. How many times do you have to tell your kids, just look out the window when you're driving? I feel like I'm saying that to a child. Like, just look out the window.
Look out the window.
Well, I think that for me it would be a few problems. One, I'm kind of claustrophobic. Like, I don't want to be in this capsule. Don't feel like there's enough space in that thing, right? And then how long is this trip? It seemed like it's a pretty long trip. How long?
What do you got things to do?
You
didn't say it.
Now, is there now? Do I have my iPad? Can I watch? I mean, can I get on internet? What can I do on this camera?
Well, it's funny you should ask. Actually, we had an astronaut on before you.
Oh, really?
Yes, he watched the Super Bowl from the International Space Station, TD.
Okay.
So you can get the red zone. I mean, if that's what your concern is. I mean,
okay.
We'll get you home for dinner if you give us a few.
How long is the flight? How long is it?
I'd say a week. A week?
A week?
Yes. You got to go up. You got to spin around and go home.
Hell no. I'm good. I'm all right.
I love it.
What's your threshold on space flight before it's considered too long? 2 days? 2 days? 3 days? I mean, give me a range. TD.
I don't like being on a plane for 4 hours.
By the way, I've seen you on planes. You put a blanket over your head so people don't bother you when you fall asleep. You never awake on a plane. I've traveled with you.
You get that right. That's about a 4-hour trip. 4 hours, 4.5 hours.
So what if we gave you a blanket?
About a week.
What if we gave you a blanket? You do your usual flight thing without the passing out, and you put the thing on your head, and you go to sleep. You could probably sleep.
Wouldn't last. That wouldn't last. So that number one, that would defeat the whole trip because wouldn't you want to see if you're going up there, you want to look out the window like you said and see Earth get smaller. But I wouldn't want to do it. I mean, the first couple of hours might be cool, but I can't be on that. And then when you get there, what are you doing up there, man? What are you doing, seriously?
I mean, Terrell Davis, we're simpatico
Oh my
here, buddy.
gosh.
Thank you so much.
What in the world?
Thank you so much for backing my
By the way, this is a serious question. If you're claustrophobic, what's it like underneath a pile of 19 300-pound men who've just tackled you? You must have gone crazy down at the bottom of a pile.
No, that's not. No. That rarely happened, by the way. Rarely.
That's why you're in the Hall of Fame. You avoided contact. I get it.
Right.
I see it.
That's not good, man.
All right, TD, thanks for the call. You're the best. Best to your family. At Terrell_Davis on Twitter. At The Real Terrell Davis on Instagram to learn more about Defy and just hang with TD. Thanks for the call, brother. You're the best. You're the best. That's Terrell Davis. All right, so now you got another guy in the back of your book.
I mean,
the
look,
very wrong stuff.
Alan Dallas, all due respect, but I went Terrell Davis. We got it up a notch.
Yeah.
Took it up a notch.
What are you gonna do?
I mean,
what is the matter with people?
Just saying.
And by people, I mean you and Terrell Davis. 844-204-RICH. We'll take your calls in a moment. Your neck in this.
It's fantastic.
This is cool. I don't want to look like Mike Glennon. All right, so we need to take my neck down a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
The Adam's apple and who? I don't know who we.
That's
Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah, that's Buzz Aldrin.
Can you put that up again?
Let's just shorten my neck a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
Aldrin's on the right.
Aldrin's on the right.
On the Stars on the left, and I don't know who's the third guy.
The fifth Beatle? Like, what are we doing?
Oh my gosh! Who is the Pete
Michael
Best?
Collins.
Who is Michael Collins?
Come on, baby.
Did you know that off the top of your head?
Yes, I did not.
No way. No,
Come and look at my computer.
Nah, he did.
I love
He
space.
just kind of closed his eyes, and then it came
I have all
down.
the patches and stuff at home. I love this stuff. This is cool as hell. That's why I want to go. I'd be scared as hell.
I know. I mean,
I would be. I don't like rides.
So I don't like rides. I don't like them at all.
I didn't hate rides.
I have a tough time being in observatories with mesh in front of me where I know I'm not going to fall over.
Yeah.
I have a thing with heights, but I would still want to go.
Yeah. Once you're in and you're up.
Imagine what that must be like. And I can't imagine looking at my watch wondering where I got to be next. Like Terrell Day, how long are we going to go? Like, what are you going to do? You got to clear your schedule?
Can we go back?
You'll golf when you come home.
Can we get back? Can we go down? I want to do the moon. If you're going to do it, you got to go.
How about Mark Kelly saying Mars is next?
I mean, yeah, Mars is.
Moon and then Mars.
But it's going to take years to get there.
Yeah, it's like 18 months or something. It's crazy.
I know. You got to clear your schedule for that.
You got to clear out like 4 years.
Then you're like the movie Alien. Things could come alive on the ship. I'm not into that. I want to stay local.
So you are, you're not into that. Are you not into that?
I'm not into the
You are
long
not
mission.
into aliens that are coming for you to host themselves inside your body and then pop out.
I want to stay local.
Got it. Just want to make sure. Make a note of that. He is not into that.
I'll write that down.
Local. I want to be local.
But didn't you say you want to go to Mars? Like if SpaceX goes to Mars?
I want to go to Mars for a lot of reasons, just to get away from, like right now.
Mike,
There's a difference.
Alimony?
It's like
You got to pay alimony in space.
3-4 years. Do you? That's like 3-4 years of your life.
Probably.
Going to
By the way,
Mars.
I mean,
Mark Kelly is happily married. Don't have an answer for that one. I'm out and fresh out of calling up astronauts.
help us with that one.
I'm just assuming that your financial obligations still
Oh, they're done. I never had
maintained
that.
when you got to go into space.
Yeah,
because you're coming home at some point. You're tapping out.
Unless you colonize
Should
Mars.
we call Matt Damon and ask about the Martian?
Yes.
Yeah, after that, I'm out. I don't know anything about Mars. People have been to Mars. All 3 hours of the Rich Eisen Show anytime on Podcast One. Listen and subscribe. Go to podcastone.com/Rich Eisen. Fun show today. Didn't think we'd be talking about space travel. Didn't think I'd speak to Mark Kelly, an actual astronaut, but he just crop up. These things happen. We operate as need be. As need be. 844-204-RICH, number to dial. Let's take some phone calls. Let's go to Steve in Colorado, who's been hanging on for quite some time. Thanks for hanging in there, Steve. What's on your mind?
Hey, Rich. Thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate it.
My question today is, when is enough enough? And by that, I mean, for 3 months, I've been listening to all the coronavirus and sports news, college, professional, soccer, baseball, all of them. And I'm wondering, I understand the economics of everything.
Oh, boy.
And how that drives the sports world. But when is enough enough? Is it worth the death of one parking lot attendant? Is it worth the death of one sports player? Is it worth the death of a coach, a general manager, an owner? I mean, we need to step back, I think, and take a look at this, because I don't think the coronavirus is over for us at all.
And I appreciate
I love
it.
the
Yes.
sports as much as anybody else. I watch it constantly. I spend hours and hours a week watching college and pro sports. But when is enough enough?
Steve, I appreciate the call, and thanks for holding on for as long as you did to deliver that. There's not a word you said that I can argue with. I can't. I'm not going to sit here and say anything. You know? But I guess it's just like any endeavor. We choose to come here every day. You know, we think this is a safe environment. I think we all agree on that, you know, if anybody had an issue with this potentially being an unsafe environment, or I know if either of you thought that I was living my life in a manner that was risky, exposing myself, you would say something to me about it. And who would be the first person to say something to you? Me. Yep. So we're kind of all in this together to attempt it, because we like doing it, but we also are trying to build a business here. There's just no other way to describe it. We're trying to keep this show going in an era in which any show that's operational, it's something, it's an undertaking, but we're choosing to do it. And that's why any of these sports that attempt the comeback and pull it off, some players are not going to do it, including those who are making a small fortune on a daily basis just to play the sport, being told you got to take a 90% haircut to do it. Like Mike Trout. I wouldn't blame Mike Trout one bit for saying I'm not stepping out of my house. And then, of course, he would get a lot of grief for it because everybody thinks you should go play baseball and do it. I have no argument. I can't sit here and say, Steve, you know what, man? You run the risk when you get in a car every day. You run the risk getting on a bicycle every day. You run the risk doing anything every day, and you got to do the cost-benefit analysis. He's right. Like, Is it worth one life? Of course it's not. Of course it's not. Nothing in this world is worth the life of another person when it's so precious and life is so damn short. But you can't just discount the economics of it. The amount of people who depend on this sport in order to make a living, it's just as important for them. And if everybody's up for endeavoring it, and the three things that I said in the first hour of the show are a hit for sports fans. One, the testing and the health and safety awareness protocols that are put in place for the players is the same thing that we feel as the general public is being offered to us, and that the divide isn't so huge that we feel our safety is being put in jeopardy at the expense of a sport being played. Two, that the health and safety of the people undertaking it is handled so well or expertly to the point where the safety isn't on our minds as we're watching it. We don't want to think we're watching somebody putting their health at risk. We want to get lost in the actual sporting event. And three, we just don't want to hear the arguments over money that it's going to take, I guess, to pull the sport off. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you, man.
But I can't argue with a caller saying that.
No, of course not. We just all miss it, and we want it back, and I don't think we're alone in that.
Trust me, I would love the NFL to be back. My God, I'd love to figure out
just
a
think
way
about it.
where I'm doing game day morning every Sunday,
Yeah.
and we're getting lost in decisions like Matt Nagy's got to make at quarterback, or this 4th and 15 rule that we're seeing going to get voted on tomorrow. My guests tomorrow, Andy Reid of the Chiefs, Mike Zimmer of the Vikings, my coach, Jim Harbaugh, the University of Michigan. We'll talk about college football with him. And we have other guests potentially lined up.
I mean, just think about it.
I'd love to.
It's May 27th. We should be talking about Lakers-Bucks finals. Maybe the Clippers made it. Stanley Cup. Like, those are the types of things we should be talking about right now, and we're not. And it's a bummer.
I know that. Yep. Trust me. I mean, that 4th and 15 rule, I can't wait for it.
It's great.
I hope that's 32-0. Well, it'll be 31-1 because the Raiders will abstain, and the Bengals will just vote against it. Right. Because it's something
30-1.
Because it's something of this century.
Right. So 30-1. Still unanimous. It's cool.
Even though Joe Burrow could just flip one up to A.J. Green for 16 yards and do a 50-50 ball, which is much better than an onside kick, especially if that 50-50 ball that A.J. Green is attempting to go grab, somebody grabs the back of his jersey and there's a flag on the play, and in one single illegal contact flag makes it a 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line, which any team would take right there on the spot. You could do, every team's going to do the math on this. Every team will do the math on this, and every team will figure out what the logistics of this are in terms of the X's and O's, and then the analytics. And the math, I think, automatically is much better than an onside kick. And then when you toss in the fact that a defensive penalty that comes with a first down,
right?
Like somebody lays somebody out, 15-yard penalty, any personal foul, any illegal contact, gives the ball to the offense in a better field position.
With the rules already skewed to help the offense, how many times did we see defensive holding last year? Out of control.
The sky judge is something I'm interested in. I just...
Now, is the sky judge going to come in and maybe overturn a penalty like that on one of those 4th and 15 plays?
It's just when this... We'll discuss more of it tomorrow. Again, the sky judge is the concerning one for me. Because you don't see the flag. You will not see a flag flying in from where the sky judge is watching.
But they showed the videos, so you actually saw what they were looking at.
I know. Well, you're talking about the AAF.
In the AAF. It's like, it was cool. I don't think we had like one a game.
It's because with the ultimate of respect to our friends at the AAF as they were trying to pull something off.
Yeah.
Who cared who won or lost those games, other than the people who were playing it?
I know. No,
there was no diehard fan bases of these teams. There was nobody whose family's been having season tickets for generations, and there were nobody like Brock. You didn't gamble on the AAF, did you?
No, but you could.
I mean, but
yeah, no, I get it.
It's not the same stakes, man. Not even remotely in the same galaxy to bring it all full circle.
Well done.
The final frontier.
What do you got for me over there on the poll question? Final results, Christopher.
All right, final results.
If this is not a 70-30 split by the end of Mark Kelly giving his 2 cents, I don't know what the hell's going on.
No, it's not. I mean, would you go into space? Unforgettable experience, 66%. After 30 seconds, then what? 34%.
I understand if people are like, I'm afraid, I'm concerned, Terrell Davis, what happens if you don't come back? I understand if that's the reason. But the reason of what are you going to do once you're up there after 30 seconds is not an acceptable response.
You're not playing in the balls.
It's the very wrong stuff.
The balls.
It's the wrong stuff. Look at that.
I fixed my neck.
Oh, and they moved your head down on the neck a little bit.
Thank you so much for fixing my neck there.
Because it was very Glenn on.
It very was.
It did look Glenn on neck. You had Glenn on neck going.
Thank you.
You don't want Glenn on neck.
Foxborough, we have a problem.
And the most impressive thing today is DelTufo. You knew who the third
Michael Collins. Yeah, come on. I should have had it quicker.
My gosh.
And no one told me.
What do you know more about, Michael Collins or Phil Collins? Which Collins?
Oh,
Phil.
Okay.
Genesis,
I just
my
want to make
third
sure.
favorite
Okay,
group.
I understood. You say you're a big space guy, but
Michael Collins is still alive.
Could have got him calling.
He's 89.
I'm sure the phone works for him. Buzz Aldrin would have punched you out, man.
I know.
He'd have laid you out.
One giant
after
leap.
30 seconds. How
One
about a
giant
knuckle sandwich?
Yeah.
We'll see you Thursday.